Welcome to Hot Mic with Lady She podcast. I'm your host, Lady She. On tonight, I have a special guest, Miss Shana Bowers of SB
Blowout Bar.
Blowout Bar.
Yes.
This listen, we were just chatting. I hate when we chat before we start because then my mind be all over the place. I gotta really stop doing that. But I got some dope guests. Like, it just is what it is. Like, period. So we're about to get right into it. Welcome to Shana Bowers.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Of course.
Listen, I am super excited for you. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
Like, for real. I don't want to get emotional because I know God, Jesus done turned me into a punk now. You know what I'm saying? I start crying about whatever. But your story could have went a whole other way. It
Absolutely.
really could have. It
Absolutely.
really could have. So, I don't take it lightly that you said yes to me. I know you know me, but you could have been like, whatever.
Right.
So I don't take it lightly. Thank you once again for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So let's get into it. Who is Shana Bowers?
Shana Bowers is a 37-year-old mom of 3 girls. I have a 19-year-old, 8-year-old, and 2-year-old. That is like, oh my gosh, amazing. It's
Isn't
so
one of the
amazing.
best?
Yes, it's like
It just
so
is.
amazing. So amazing. And basically, me, I'm a family woman, love my family, love raising my children, love being around my parents, my sisters, everything, and of course going out with the girls here and there.
You have to.
Like, you to have mommy time, as my 8-year-old says. Like, you want to go have mommy time,
I love it.
what have you. Working, building a brand. That's basically where I'm at now. I'm really trying to build an empire.
You're doing it.
Yes.
You're doing
But to see SB Blowout Bar everywhere,
Yeah.
Other than that, that's just my main focus right now. It's just like kids, business, family. Like,
And in that order.
Yeah.
Hello. Love it, love it, love it. So, yeah, she chose violence, trying to say her age because I'm older. But whatever. We're going to go past that part. Yeah, so
it's okay. Look great.
Thank you. Appreciate it. So 37 years old, and you grew up where? Just talk to us about your childhood.
I grew up in Hempstead on 100 Terrace Avenue, apartment 236 to be exact.
Exactly.
Like I always say to people, being that where I'm from is not, where we're from is not great. It's not boosted about. It's like, oh my gosh, you're from there.
Like you can't be
wow.
from there.
Like I tell people, no, I came from the medical center.
Right.
East Terrace Avenue. Like I'm a born breed from over there. So I was raised in a 2-family home. I have an older sister. I'm the middle child, and I have a little sister. My parents kept us in dance, took us always on trips, vacations. So where I grew up at, I knew it wasn't 100% like the perfect world or the perfect suburb, but it was perfect for me. I didn't have any problems. I didn't have any worries. Like I played outside, jumped double dutch, bike ride, hopscotch, whatever. Telephone man come, like and then as my sister got older, she used to able to go out at nighttime. So I was always very mature for my age. So my mom would say, "Well, you can only go outside if your sister's outside." So I used to beg her, like,
yeah, I was one of the friends that had to be like, we taking Shana.
Yes. Like, is Shana coming? Like, Shana is coming. Because I wanted to see everything, wanted to see what everything, and I just wanted to be like you. Like, you guys were so, like, lit.
Yeah, we was, though.
I'm like, I was like, how can I not?
We had a good time.
Yeah, we really had a good time. Like, yes, it was violence. Yes, it was drugs. But that's anywhere in any hood. Of where you grew up at. But other than that, like, I'm not ashamed. I love to say where I'm from, especially where I've been in my life, what I've went through in my life that brought me to where I'm at now. Like, that block basically molded me. It built me into the woman that I am. Even the older dope boys and everything on the block would be like, oh, when you get older, you take all the God's money. So it was something that was like in my head. And then my father was like, everybody used to like, what? Fly, with the sweatsuits and suits. Like, so that's basically like who I am, how I came up, where I'm from, or whatever. I'm still in New York. and still local around. Like, you know, other than that, it's hard for me to leave where my stopping grounds. Like,
I know
where
that's
I'm from.
Especially if you don't have a crazy, you know, background story. A lot of people who leave, they always have that thing. I'm so glad I left. And I'm one of them. Like I could say I'm glad I'm leaving, but it wouldn't be because something so traumatic.
Right.
I honestly love
it's always because we want more.
Right.
Like, you know, like I look at my children, they are so absorbed in their bubble. Like they have no clue as to what like is going. I would tell my 19-year-old Tom's when she was a teenager in high school, walking across the street to the food. I'm like, pay attention. You don't have this. She's like, Ma, you're just always so dramatic. I'm like, no, like these. They really grew up in their own bubble. And that's also, too, what I'd be so happy about. Like, wow, I didn't have a traumatic story other than growing up in the hood. But other than that, like, my children, I'm like, every day you wake up, you don't hear sirens.
Right.
You know,
you actually hear birds chirping.
Right.
Like, that's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, because, listen, we used to have visitors come and they'd be like, what's that sound? Like, they went...
Like, what is going on?
They're like, okay, I got trees. Like, we're like, we got trees, but they just shot somebody yesterday.
Right.
Yeah, we got both. Like,
that's what I used to say. Like, we were like, oh, you're from Long Island? Like, don't sleep.
Yeah, no, don't sleep.
Please don't sleep.
And that's what make it funny because you'll say you're from Long Island, but then they're like, oh, okay. Then we like, I'm from Hempstead. They're like, oh, you from Hempstead.
Right.
Then they know it's different. They're
it's
like,
different.
Oh.
And then a lot of times the next, oh, you from Terrace? You know Terrace?
Yes, they know.
No matter where you from, you know Terrace.
They're going to know.
You know. Like, you know.
They're going to know.
Exactly. You definitely will know.
Yeah.
People in the hood, you get a new car, whatever, you're riding down that block.
That's a fact.
You're riding down that block just because.
You know why, but just because. Girl, oh my goodness. It's so, so true. So now, you said you're 37, you have 3 beautiful girls. Growing up in a 2-family household, your siblings, you know, because you have a huge family.
Yes.
And when she's mentioning, like, and loving my family, like, her family was actually together.
Yes.
So, you know, what was that like?
It was great because it built me to who I am now. Because I don't know what it is not to have.
Right.
Like, my cousins from Jersey. But, like, even sometimes we go to Philly. We go to, like, we are just very family oriented. Yes. And my grandmother, Mimi, always told, like, you stick together. Right. And then we have a lot of girls.
Right. And that, right.
You know, so and they're all, like, close within age. Like, these 2 may be closer, these 3, like, you know, everybody. So you have that bond, that sisterhood, like, till this day, like, anything that, yes, I have close friends, but I'm calling my sisters.
Yeah,
like,
come on.
Yeah, like, listen, this is what happened. Like, you know, like, my sisters are like, can't, like, oh gosh. Like, all right. Like, let's just go.
Absolutely. I'm sorry. Switch this size, catching on my necklace, jewelry. All right, so growing up, all girls, this huge family, everybody's close knit. You're in this neighborhood. Now, let me ask you this, and you know we're gonna get to you know the incarceration and things like that. I remember you being little, and like you tapped into a little bit. We were like, they was like, oh, you're gonna be a heartbreak, you're gonna be this. Do you feel? Okay, how can I explain? Like being in school as you gotten older. I saw a show with this. I think it's called. Oh gosh, I'm so bad with names. The show was called not Housewives. Yes, it's Housewives. Housewives of it's a place in Maryland. It's a place in Maryland.
Potomac?
Yes, Potomac.
Yes.
Housewives of Potomac. And the fair-skinned girls, they call them the Green Eye Bandit.
Yeah.
I remember the darker skinned lady was trying to, I guess they were going back and forth. And she said something on the lines of, well, you get a pretty girl pass. Do you think people ever, or can you share, or do you feel that you've ever had to deal with certain things not being taken serious or going through certain things because you had the pretty girl pass? If so, share that.
Yes. That was part of me growing up.
Okay.
Also that's why, like, my mom always says I'm always was the like fighter, the one, because I always would have to prove myself.
Right.
Because, oh, you're the pretty girl, so we can bully her.
Yeah.
And I will always have to stand up for myself. So this is why I had a couple of fights
right.
in my day and time. And I noticed probably when I was about 12,
Okay.
about to turn 13, that it's different.
Okay.
It's like it's different because it was a situation with a young lady and I where I took a book bag, like I was supposed to have took something.
This is in school.
This is in school.
And this is public school or private school?
No, public school, middle school.
Okay.
Middle school. So that I took something from her book bag. I forgot exactly what it was. And she was also known to be like
a bully,
like big and bad and this and that. And I'm not gonna front. I was scared. Like, so I was already, my friends, like, back then you think who your friends are. Now you look back, you see one of them like, oh, well, she said, you took, or she's like, waiting. Like, just waiting.
That
like,
never stops, unfortunately.
Yeah, like just waiting for, like, it to go down, basically, for me to get right. Exactly. So when she came up, she was like, you took my bag. So I'm like, what? I'm like, no, I didn't, whatever. She like, what? I'm going to beat you. So when she came for me, I had no choice but to defend myself. Because also, too, I had an aunt, God rest her soul, Aunt Sheila.
Oh, she played no games. Let's be clear.
That taught us.
She ain't played
and games. She used to say, you pretty, but you whoop their ass. You show them pretty can whoop ass. That was it. You show them pretty can whoop ass.
I heard her voice.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Like, that's what you, and she just came to it, and I defended myself, and I end up like whooping her. So people were like, wow, like, and that gave me a little bit respect. But if I didn't stand up for myself, it just would have been the pretty girl with the long hair that would have got like, whatever. So that's when I really noticed, like, okay, because my thing was like, we're all like girls, like we're all like, like, why
that was your environment,
right? Like why are you upset with me? Like, we're growing up in the hood together. Like, you live in the same building as me or whatever. Like, we go to the same school. So what are you and that's when it really a light bulb that went off to me, like, okay, Shana, you are a little bit issues. Right. You have the issues there, and you have to, and one thing with me, my heart was always at that time as I grew and got into high school, because I would get compliments from men and women, like people in school. I'm in 9th grade, people in 12th, like, oh my gosh, you here, this such and such. I'm in 9th grade, I made varsity cheerleading squad at Hempstead High School. Right. So I was always like kind of the it girl or whatever, but I always told myself at the time, now I could say, remain humble.
Right. Love that.
Like, you're not no better than anybody else because you may have a look within yourself, and also too, check your flaws because you're not perfect.
Right. Nobody is. I love it.
Absolutely. So that was like really my thing when I turned 12, that I really noticed, like, okay, so now I gotta defend. So after that, I was like really like anybody, like I was like, ready. What's up?
Like don't let this fool you. Okay, I just look like this. Okay. Yeah. No, I got that. Yeah. I get that. And you know what? It's interesting that it was 12 because that's such a vital age. You're right between your teens and all of that. So at least you got it then, and you didn't get it really late. Right. Because what probably would have happened is you'd have been so thirsty to have real friendships, you probably kept getting hurt. Because you think of people your real friend, but they really out to get you because you look like this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I learned that 12th grade.
Wow.
I mean, 12 years old.
12 years old. That is something.
Yep.
Very interesting. Wow. All right. So now, 12 years old, you're not realizing, but you already know, but your environment is so loving. You just like, okay, I'm pretty. We all beautiful, whatever. Right. But now at 12, you're like, oh, wait, because I'm beautiful, I might have issues. Okay, well, let me toughen myself up, but still remain humble. So where did the whole doing hair thing come from?
The whole doing hair thing, I've always, as a kid coming up, I have a background of hairstylist. My mother never was a cosmetologist, but you already know. Yeah. She could do hair. As we speak right now, she's braiding my little sister hair to go to Mexico.
There was always somebody between legs.
Like,
okay,
literally.
Hair braided. Okay.
Literally. So I have aunts. My father's sister owned hair salons. One of my aunts which is Bria's godmom.
Mm-hmm.
She does skateboard literally right now. New York teaches at BOCES. So I always had it in me that I knew that I like wanted to do something within like the fashion world. And I put hair into fashion because when you go for a look, you go for a certain hairstyle.
It's all the arts.
It's all like, so I thought I was going to do something more or less in clothing.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was in high school in 11th grade, I signed up for BOCES.
Okay.
So I started to do fashion.
Okay.
So it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I'm like,
what's that mean?
Oh no. That means like, it just wasn't, it was too much with the measurements
like
and
all the details.
Really detailed. Like you really, really have to
Shout
know.
out to the stylists, because you gotta be smart. You gotta be
sharp, smart. You have to know.
You have to love that. Yeah.
Right. And I wasn't loving it.
Yeah.
Like that.
You were just like, I could dress.
I could dress.
know what I'm doing.
Yeah, so like, what they gonna want to wear what I wear? Like, I gotta be like, oh no. This is more or less like, wait, I gotta pick the like. Wait, I gotta know the difference between the tweed and this is like everything. Like,
ma'am,
you have to really, really know. So that's why big up to any,
I respect it.
Yes, stylist, whatever. Then I left there and I transferred to hair.
Okay.
So I was like, okay.
And this is still in BOCES.
Oh,
explain what BOCES is.
BOCES is basically that they have in Nassau County is that you go to school either in the mornings or the afternoons and you can pick up a trade.
Right.
So BOCES, they have cosmetology, fashion, electrician, nursing programs, all these type of different programs where when you graduate, you can graduate with your cosmetology license. Like that's just what my 19-year-old just did. Like she has a cosmetology license now, whatever. So, I went into the program. I didn't finish.
Okay.
I was bad at school. Cutting.
You're like
like cutting school. So it just was like, your child can't come back. Like she's missing days.
Right.
Like,
what are you doing?
Going out smoking, hanging with Bria father. Like, you could tell me that I thought I was super, super grown. Like, I would have thought that I was an adult.
How old was you at this time?
At this time, I'm like around 14, 15.
Wait, whoa, what?
Yeah, like 14, 15. Like, probably, I give 16. Between 14 and 16.
So you was in high school?
I was in high school.
I'm dying.
And it's so crazy because my parents, we're getting to like, wouldn't have had a thought. Like, when I ended up where I did, my mother was like, where did this come from? Like, what is this like going on? Like, what's happening? Yeah. So once my father found out, like, wait a minute, my guidance counselor had to contact, like, well, listen, this is Shana's full schedule now. Like, she's no longer at BOCES. So my father was like, what do you mean you're not at BOCES? So I had to try to front like, Dad, I didn't. When he was like, what, you're cutting? Like, you could have said,
I can see a fall.
Yeah. You could have told us from the beginning that you didn't want to do this.
Do it. Right.
Anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And even with that, when you're in beauty school, they're teaching you for the state board.
Right.
So I was bored. Like, I'm like, well, I don't want to have to do this and do that. And, I'm just thinking at that time, my brain of me thinking like, okay, I go in here, I'll get it done. And then it's just done to something else and just keep it pushing. But no, you got to work for everything you have. That was one of the things, like, I came from being spoiled.
Right.
Like, in high school, my mother didn't allow us to get jobs.
Right.
Thank God, like, we didn't have, I know some children have to help their parents out. Absolutely. Like, I have friends that had to work to help pay the bills or whatever. I'm blessed that I didn't have to do that.
Right.
But me looking back there, I just was so privileged, like, oh, I don't gotta go to that. Come back around to me. Right. I'm gonna be this age forever. Like,
but no, that's real talk though. Because if it's not your world, you're like, oh, I'll get back to that. I'm doing this right now.
I'm like, no, what? 16. Like, please. I'll get back to it.
So now you're 15. The guidance counselor blew you up. Blew you all the way up. So now what happens?
So now I get back into school, focusing on school, everything like that. I'm back in regular school, instead of high school. BOCES is like done. Like, no. Shana Bowers cannot come back. Like, she cannot come back. Or whatever. So in school, whatever, going to school, I'm dating Bria's father. So when I was 17, I got pregnant with her.
What was that like?
Very
Your
scary.
parents.
Very scary.
Very scary.
Like very scary. At the time, it was so many girls that was within my age group that were getting pregnant, and I've
Please
always
share that. Talk about that.
Which I mean, like at that time, it was like when you had a boyfriend, y'all had a baby.
Whoa!
This was to show that you were in a relationship.
What year was this?
This was like from 01. I had Bria in 03 to like 03. 03 was great. Like basically, my whole senior class was like half of my senior class was pregnant, and everybody was pregnant by the person who they thought that we were gonna go off into the sunset.
Cause when you that age, you just know you in love, child.
You just
Ain't
know
nobody else. Yeah, I'm having sex with him, so he loved me, and we love each other. So
right.
Wow.
So it was a scary thing because I knew my parents wouldn't be happy. Like they wouldn't want that for me. And when I got pregnant, this was my first time ever being pregnant.
Right.
So doing an abortion or anything, I'm scared to death of that. So some of my friends had them before, but I'm like, what?
Like word?
What?
Yeah.
Like what do they do? Like what? So I didn't think to like, okay, when the whole time everybody was getting pregnant, I'm like, this is why you never say what you're not gonna do.
Say that one.
Or what you're not gonna be.
Yeah.
That's not gonna be me.
Ooh.
I ain't getting pregnant.
Ooh.
I ain't having. I got things
How many
to do.
have done that though? How many have done it?
That was me.
Wow.
That was me. And I'm like, when I did, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm pregnant.
Like, whoa.
And Bria's father at this time, he was a kid outside. Like he was running, he was doing big boy things, like, you know, at the time.
Right.
Oh, what happened?
Y'all the same age.
Yeah, we're the same age. Just his birthday's in August, my birthday's in October.
All right, gotcha.
So we're the same age. So he gets incarcerated.
And y'all 17.
We're 17.
And you're pregnant.
And I'm pregnant.
And now he locked up.
So now, being that he's locked up, whatever his case was, he was able to get bail. He's another one, comes from a wealthy one.
Right.
Like, you know, where things that he went through in his life, he didn't even have to, like, you know, but the choices we make.
Absolutely.
You know, after we raise our kids, there's nothing that we can, like, you know,
what you can do.
You do it exactly. You do what you can do. So he comes home or whatever. Now, when I'm 17, because I was graduating when I was 18 years old. So I'm going into 12th grade.
Right.
So I'm going into 12th grade. They have a program called TAP, which is called Teenage Pregnancy Program. Mm-hmm. So, matter of fact, I'm lying. I was supposed to graduate when I was 17, but I had to go back because I used to cut so much.
You had to make up.
I had to make up like gym and like.
Why is it always gym? Gym.
I had passed my SATs, everything.
I promise you, it's always gym.
And what was her name? Miss D, or what? The light skinned lady at Hillside.
Carson, I think her name.
Yeah, Miss. She used to be like, "Bowers, you ain't changed again. You want to think you so cute?
Yeah.
I'm marking you ain't
we
changed."
We sit there talking, and she like, We're like.
And even when you change, she used to be like, don't think because you changed and you're not participating. No, you had so me. I used to, literally at the 6th period, Bria's father would come pick me up. Because I had all my majors in the morning.
Right.
So I just would get picked up like I really had like a half a day of school. So
like, I'm in college, honey.
Yes. So now when it comes back, my parents are basically like, Girl,
do it.
You pregnant and then have a nerve that you're not even graduating on time. So my mother came to me. Well, how it happened was one of my friends told my aunt Sheila. Oh, congratulations, your niece is on her way.
What?
Oh, no, your niece is having a baby. So
people be so.
And looking back, because at that time, I thought this was my friend.
Right. Oh, I had to,
thought it was my friend.
Thank you, God. He revealed
all. He revealed all.
You look back like, wow, you've been a hater.
Right. Wow. So now, I come from Nassau County Jail, sneaking and going to go see Bria's father or whatever.
But wait, now you're 17?
I'm 17.
But wait, how did you get in the jail?
I'm taking my sister's ID. And back then at Nassau County, they didn't even care. Like, who was it?
So what we're talking about right now is she's 17 and pregnant. Her child dad is in the jail. You have to be 18 to go on a visit. She was 17, so I asked her, how did you do that? So that's what she.
Yes, I used to take my sisters. Like, that's why I say my older sister, she's my ride or die. Ride or die. She's coming in on a horse.
Right.
Has to.
I love that.
So let me use it. She know where I'm going.
Right.
Like, yeah, go ahead. Like, so I come home and my mother's like, so what is this shit let's talk about that you're pregnant? I'm like, what? I'm like, I don't know. So she's like, so what are you going to do? So I'm like, I keep saying, I don't know. So she's like, well, do you know your name? So I'm like, yes, I know my name. She said, well, you need to figure, like, she was so disgusted. Like, my father was always the cool one.
Yeah, he's
the cool, like, and people would think, like, your dad would be like, oh, more.
No,
my mother was like the bad cop.
Yeah.
My dad was the good cop.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
so to save the day.
Yes, he comes and saves the day all the time. And she's like, Patrick, you and these girls, like, you know, then you gotta stop with these girls. So I'm just like, I don't know, like, what I wanted to do.
That was reality, really.
That was really reality.
Like, my mom is asking me about me being pregnant.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. And then when I made up my mind, like, well, Ma, I'm scared to, like, you know, have an abortion, whatever. My father was reading scriptures and stuff to me. And they just was like, you know what, basically, we're going to get through this.
Yeah.
It'll be something that we'll have to get through. Mm-hmm. Now, when I have spoken to my mother about it a couple of years ago, like, how was it for you, like, being a mom and your teenage daughter coming to you? She was like, it was hurtful because I felt like I'm at work all the time. I'm not even paying attention to see, like, what she's doing, what's going on. And I'm just giving y'all because I'm at work. Yeah. Your father's at work too, but your father's more Thanksgivings and Christmas. It's been many Christmases that I haven't woke up with my mom. Right. Like, due to, she was a 911 operator.
Let them know what she did.
Yeah, she was a 911 operator for Nassau County. Right. So at work all the time. Yeah. So now she just was like, and also I thought, like, I have to take care of this baby. Yeah. You don't have anything. Right. You don't even have a job. Like, you're still a kid. Yeah. So now I have you and I have her. Mm-hmm. That baby that I have to help raise. So now Bria's father comes home. Mm-hmm. He's home and everything. He's there throughout the whole entire pregnancy. Or whatever. I have her at the hospital. He's there, whatever. Leaving the hospital, him and his brother and mom gets arrested. Remember, again, I told you he was outside.
Oh, he was outside. Okay.
So he was doing a lot.
Right.
And my best friend came up to the hospital the next day and just was like, they got arrested, whatever. Mm-hmm. His mom bailed him out again. Okay. So now he's home. Bria's 3 months old. Okay. This is now his mom bought a house up in Westchester. Again, I said very well off. Mm-hmm. Like, she bought a house up in Westchester where there, police kicks in the door.
So she bought a house in Westchester to place you guys there?
They were living there, mm-hmm. whatever. Like, she bought a house in Westchester to move her sons out of Hempstead. To say, like, you know, like, get enough. Shot, enough is enough, whatever. But they were so caught up
in it. Yeah.
They was already in it. Mm-hmm. Too deep. Yeah. So they will cross over. They've been driving since forever. Mm-hmm. They'd be crossing over the bridge, like, mm-hmm. every day. Right. And it's a beautiful, like, she'd think, like, this is a beautiful house, a beautiful neighborhood. So me and Bria, we will go up there at times, because now my mother is like, okay, because my mother didn't even know that I had a boyfriend until I got pregnant.
Wait, what? How you was pulling that? Okay.
Yes. My cousin Sabri.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Sabri.
Yes, used to go to Hofstra.
Right.
Remember, my mother raised her.
Yes.
Used to go to Hofstra. So anything with Sabri at Hofstra, you're great. Right. I would go say I'm going to be on the weekends. and I would go stay with him on the weekends, and his mom didn't care. She was like, "You're a lovely girl. You're so pretty. You dress so nice." Like she was just always like, "Oh, just like whatever." So I would sneak and go over there.
That is comedy.
Yes, like,
but it's real though.
It's real. And then I made it seem like he was this great.
He was a square.
I made it seem like he was on honor roll,
right.
this and that. So now my father outside a little bit.
No, yeah.
He
up on it.
Yeah, he up on it. So one day he come home like, "You're saying who you're pregnant by is on honor roll. He didn't even graduate. He's a blood." He's like, "What are you like?
Dad
what is
said,
this?
I'm quiet, but I be knowing."
Yeah, like, what is this? So they're just at this point, like, just over.
Done.
Like, they're just done. Like, let this girl have this baby.
Let her
Like,
do what she gonna do.
yes, like, let her do whatever.
Yeah.
So that's how that happened. And when Bria was 3 months, when they kicked in the door, it just was so many. Basically, long story short, he didn't come home until Bria was going on 11.
Wow.
So that's a whole nother story.
Right.
Within itself, being a teen mom with somebody that has a sensitive to life.
Grow up with your daughter. Your daughter had to grow up.
Definitely. My 19-year-old, she's been like the person that she is now.
She's amazing.
It's just amazing. Like God.
Yes.
Like, what did I do?
Oh my goodness.
Like, because it's like I feel sometimes like I don't. What did I do to deserve this? Like, she's like, no, nobody's perfect, but she's my perfect. Yeah. Like, and it's just like so amazing of the young lady that she's going through, things that we have been through and things that she's seen me go through. Right. And now, like, we had our ups and downs in the relationship. I'm growing with her.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it is to be the mom that I am now to Kylie and Charm. Like, yes, I was there. But also, too, my parents played a
big role.
Big role, especially my mother. Right. And them two, now, like, Bria will flip, like, she'll probably knock me out. As she should. Right, as she should. But, like, it's just, like, it's very, very deep with them. And I tell my mother all the time, like, just thank you. So that's why it's just, like, my goal now is just to work and just let her feel and see her flowers while she can.
Yes. Come on, Shana.
Yes.
Absolutely. No, I love that. That's dope. Wow. Oh, I got chills, child. Come on in here with the bars. Yeah. All right. So now, went through what you had to go through as a teen, growing up with your child. Because there is a difference. You can actually tell sometimes when certain family dynamics, you can kind of tell sometimes with the energy how close they are, and that things went on that your kids become like your ride or die, right? Because they kind of have to. You're going through this, right? So you're going through it together. So now you have your second two children. What's that been like? Now trying to finish
because when I had Bria, being that just getting out of high school, I didn't go to college. School, I never was a schoolgirl.
Okay.
So I already knew when I was pregnant with her, like my mom said to me, and I had to go to school for extra year. She said, listen, in this house, everybody graduates. Yeah. You either get your GED or you get your high school diploma. She said, and I suggest you go back and get your high school diploma because the GED is very hard. Right. And you're going to take it until you pass it.
Let them know what GED is.
The GED is basically just a faster, or which I hear is a harder test.
I hear that too.
Yeah, I hear that the test is very hard. Like it's not easy. Yeah. And it just basically it's something like a high school diploma, but you don't have to go to high school.
General,
what is it called? General education.
I guess it's general education diploma. Yeah, that's what it is. The acronym.
Right, but it's like everything balled up,
crunched
in one test. So you have things.
Shout out to y'all who passed that test.
Yes, yo, shout out. Like, because when people like, I got my GED, I'm like, what?
Like, you a little sharper than I thought.
Right, like, what? Like, you
passed? I heard that too.
Right, and especially you passed for the first time.
Yeah, first time.
And I heard a couple of people take it. They like, no, I didn't for the third time. So that's another thing that I'm glad that my mother made me go do, push me to go do. So it just was like, now as I was a mom with Bria, I always told myself, I don't want no more kids. I'm good.
Right.
So people used to say to me like, you gotta have another one. I swear she has a whole bunch of cousins. And on both sides. Like her father has plenty of, and they all nieces.
Right.
Majority that he has, and they're all within the same age range. My side of the family. So I'm like, she don't need no siblings. Or whatever. Like, she don't need no siblings. So I started to date my two children's dad, Kylie's and Charm's dad or whatever, when Bria probably was about 3.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Like young, because the time I was growing too.
So she always had a dad in her life.
Yeah, and especially with my father. Like for years, like Bria called my father dad.
Right.
Daddy. Like she knew who her father was because I would take her up there to go see him. Like, you know, his mom would take her to go see him. That's how but she always knew him behind bars.
Right.
She never knew him like outside
places,
daddy and daughter dance. Like, no, it was always my father. So it was like, okay, this is daddy. That's another thing. I thank God.
Yeah, for sure, Shana.
For that. Like, you know, I thank God for that my father is who he is, the type of man that he is. And he came in like, and Bria really looks up to, like, you know, respects him, like her dad or whatever. So that was hard. I'm just like, okay, I don't want no more kids or whatever. Then slipped up.
Not slipped up, child.
Right. Had Kylie in 2014.
Right.
You know, so I'm like, wow, this is...
So it was a 10-year gap between your oldest and your middle child?
Yes.
Wow.
And
I'm talking junk mom. Yeah,
10-year-old gap. And then when I'm pregnant with Kylie, 2014, I just came home from jail.
Okay, so let's talk about that. How did this happen?
So back in 2012, I was convicted of, I used to have counterfeit money.
Okay.
So what I would do with the counterfeit money is I would go to like different Walmarts, Targets, or what have you, and buy different electronics.
Okay.
And then I would come back to Nassau, give the receipt, like go return it, and I get my cash back. And I get real cash back. Mm-hmm. So I was always like, not a good thing to say, but like in the fast lane.
Okay.
So I used to swipe credit cards, like when that first came out.
When that was first like a thing.
Yeah. When that first was like a thing or whatever, was swiping credit cards, getting credit card numbers, and going out, purchasing things, selling stuff, whatever.
How did you learn this?
I learned basically the people that I'm around.
Okay.
Of having a
connect. People that were your age or older.
So
a lot of I'm asking her this because where we're from, you also will have kind of influenced by older people. You know, older people always connected with the younger ones, influence us some type of way. They may not have done it on purpose, but we always look up to those older than us. So that's why I'm asking her that.
Yes. So when I first started swiping, who taught me, he was older than me.
He was older. Okay.
He was older than me. Mm-hmm. Top scammer. Like,
right.
If I was saying it would be like, you know what I'm saying? Like, wow, you came up underneath that, like, you know, whatever. So that's what taught me. So for a while, that money was good. And I always kept a job too.
Right. Okay.
You know, I kept a job too or whatever. That was like for my parents to show, like, if I'm doing something and you see these clothes and stuff coming in, and this is what
I work.
Right.
Okay.
Like, you know, I work for my money. Like, you know, so I started to do that. So now that started to become like slow because everybody was starting to get up on it.
Gotcha.
Where now everybody's getting up on it. Now stores are starting to shut it down, catch on. Mm-hmm. And now the numbers are becoming bigger for you to get whatever you want. So Brandis is like, you know, once you in that lifestyle, you connect.
Right.
So connected with somebody that had funny money.
Okay.
That's what it's called. Funny money. So I'm like, okay. So I did my first one. Mm-hmm. And I made probably about like 15,000.
Oh. Well, shoot, I should have been. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking, y'all. I'm playing.
Yeah, like.
So now when you say fun, but what actually is it?
So what actually is crispy $100 bills.
Okay.
Takes the light, takes the mark. Like this one you have, I have green.
Wow.
It's not even questionable. Like,
wow.
you know,
So you had a good connect.
I had a
Right.
great connect.
Gotcha.
And what I would do, also too, I never ran with like a big crowd.
Gotcha.
Like, was either me
Mhm.
or me
The
and
other
my
person?
significant other.
Okay, gotcha.
Like, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So was it, I didn't run with a whole bunch of girls, whole bunch of guys, a whole bunch of us.
So nobody would know what you were actually
Nobody
doing, but
would,
you and
yeah,
who you were with.
right, and
Gotcha.
who I was with and
Right.
who I was purchasing from.
Gotcha.
Like, but they started noticing like I'm doing numbers for how fast I'm coming back.
Gotcha.
For more, and it's more and more. The more you come, you upping it, you upping it, you upping it. So I was like, God damn, like,
like you shaking out.
right, like like what are you doing? So when I seen that first lick, it just was like something in my blood just like got bought. Like, what? This is what?
Like this how easy it is?
This is how easy it is? And this goes back to pretty privilege.
Okay, come on.
Goes back to pretty privilege because I'm not really getting questioned. I'm walking in there looking like money, smelling like money.
Right.
Like, so you're not questioning me if I want to buy 3 iPads.
Right.
You're not going to ask me, like, where's this? Like, you're not, like, yeah, some of them may just put it right in a drawer.
Wow.
And then, as it says, I'm a trauma.
Right. Okay.
I can't say that about, but we're not even talk. I'm going to talk. Like, and I could just see, like, I would know the energy from the other person, with males, of course, that was easy. But females, if I shoot a little, they see that, oh, wait a minute, she's not a bitch.
Right.
So it's, hey, girl, like, and that,
like you were cute.
Right. And that eases them, and I get whatever I want.
Right. Wow.
So I will go to, I used to even know where the hell I was at upstate. Different time. I just will put it at this time. It wasn't like really, iPhones just was like dropping. So you really had, remember, like the GPS really, when the GPS really came out, the real GPS up in the car, and I just would put like Walmart in. And I would go.
It would scroll and show all the.
And I just would go to all Walmarts. So I would do it to where I would drive up night before, whatever, probably stay in a hotel. It depends what I was doing, what I was doing it for, what I needed
all the way
for.
in.
I was all the way in.
Now let me ask you this, because I tell people, even like when it comes to like the drug game, selling drugs can be as addictive as using drugs. So it's the same with making money and scamming and stuff. So kind of tap into that as well.
It's when you see so much money coming and a lot of money coming at once, and you can do what you please with it. You just want more and more and more and more. And it comes a habit, like it came so bad to where I had everything, but it was like, I still wanted more. Oh no, I gotta be the one with this bag.
Yeah.
I gotta be one with these shoes. I gotta be the one with these shades. Like, who, Shana that with the Lorgie that dress nice? Like, I gotta keep what Shana do.
I can't be the one that's like, oh, she used to be cute back in the day.
Yeah, never gonna say that. Never gonna say that.
Oh, she used to be cute back in the day. Up.
I'm never gonna say that.
Right.
So it just felt like that I had this thing that I had to live up to that was in my mind.
In your mind, right.
That was in my mind of what I wanted. I've always seen, as like I said, growing up on Terrace, at that time when I was growing up, the dope boys was outside.
Yeah, outside.
Cars, clothes, jewelry, whoever the baddest chick they got, like, and I see, and I'm very a person with an imagination. So I go off and I would
observe, you go somewhere else.
I go somewhere else with it. You know what I'm saying? So I would always be like, I want that. I want that. And that's like the dope boys. You get whatever you want. They used to be at the ice cream truck. Certain ones were fighting who would buy me ice cream. I'm 6, 7 years old. 8 years old. Like, looking like, what? Like, so that's something that stuck in my mind. And some of them that see me to this day, they be like, God damn. I knew you was going to work. Like, still, like, you really, and you kept up with yourself. Like, whatever. So that was always in my mind when I was doing it funny.
Right.
because it was a lifestyle that I wanted.
Yeah.
Like,
and you had to upkeep.
You got to upkeep it. Because now my parents not taking care of me no more. They take care of my baby.
Mm-hmm.
But my daughter's father, he's incarcerated. But it's like, as soon as I stopped going to go see him, he would have women bracing up to the jail. I would stop going to go see him. It's like basically his mother stopped giving me money for his kid.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's a whole other story in itself.
Right.
Where like I felt like I have to beg you to take it, like, and you had the means too.
Right.
It's not like that I'm saying it and your mom has like she's in public housing.
Right.
She doesn't like
it's not that at all.
It's not that at all.
This is light.
It's not that at all.
Light.
Exactly. Like this is light for you to do. So once that started to happen, I'm like, okay, I gotta do me. I gotta do me. I gotta take care of my baby. I had to take care of myself. And back to the lifestyle that I wanted. I used to work at Home Depot, customer service jobs, and different things like that. Various customer service jobs, but it's not gonna give me what I want. It's not gonna come as fast.
Right.
So now when it's coming, I'm like, oh, okay, I could do this. This funny money is better than swiping.
Right.
Or what have you. So now one day I'm upstate somewhere, and me and my significant other, we ate at the Olive Garden. I didn't bust down the store, so we chilling. I got probably about like 3 TVs in the back, and that's how I used to walk out of Walmart with TVs. It's like put them in the cart. Even with him, he used to be like, "What, you want to take the TV?" I was like, "Yes, let's take this TV." Like we just both three out there, even gonna question it at the door. Like so, it'd be like, "What, you want to take the TV?" Like, yeah. So I got iPads in the back, like things that is basically you have electronics store.
You like the store?
Yeah. Like where are you going? So we're driving, and he like, "Yo, I'm busy putting on lip gloss, being cute." And he like, "Yo, they about to pull me over." So I'm like, "Your license, everything? You got your license?" And he like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay, good. We good." Not even. So now he was like, "It's the D's too." So I'm like, "Okay."
Detectives.
Yeah.
We know the cars.
Right. It's the D's too. And they hop out with suits.
Right.
And normally with suits, when I see suits, it's homicide.
Right.
So I'm like, because the D's from our hood, jeans, hoodies, t-shirts, sneakers, like, not normally suits. But remember, I'm upstate. Yeah. I'm in a totally different small town, Ulster County to be exact.
Wow.
To be exact. So I normally used to keep the money somewhere in the car, like the roof where you wouldn't be able to get to it.
Right.
So when they ask for registration, license, whatever, I go for the registration and I fill the envelope in the glove compartment.
Dang.
So I'm like, shit. But as long as they do all of it, like he has
Focus
license, everything,
asking, right.
The car is in my name, I have my license, whatever, they're gonna let us go.
Right.
No.
She's like,
no, didn't happen. Please step out of the vehicle. So I'm like, yo, what the fuck? So long story short, we get arrested. They find it, and they were like, it's right here. We got it. So I'm like, so him and like me and him, we were talking with our eyes.
Right.
Like basically like, yo.
Like it's going down.
Like, and this is my first time. He has been arrested before.
Right.
But I've got arrested before for a fake check, even swipes before, but I always got ROR, which means release on your own recognizance.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Always got ROR. So I'm like, wait a minute. Go over to the jail and everything like that. Of course, they come to the woman first. Like, whatever. This is you. So what they were trying to do was pinpoint another girl on me that supposedly had paid for something with funny money. So I'm like, that's not me.
Right.
So they're like, this is you, whatever. And it really wasn't me.
Wasn't you.
So I'm like, it's not me. I'm not going to say that it's somebody who I'm not. Like, there's nothing left for us to talk about or whatever. So they're like, well, you're going to see the judge. So I'm like, the judge tonight? Because down in Nassau, you don't see the judge till the next morning.
The facts.
So I'm like, tonight? So I'm like, do the judge take credit cards?
I can't just say that.
So they're like, you have somebody to pay this bill with credit card? My bill was $10,000 at the time. So I was like, yeah. First person I called my sister, and I'm like, call Bria's father's mother. Because she done been billing him and his friends out.
Yeah, this is what she do.
This is what. So come through for me.
Let's go. My turn.
Which she came through.
Wow.
She came all the way through. Like all the way through. And I feel like sometimes, like also too, she of course did it out the kindness of her heart, but I felt that time she felt guilty
for not,
you know, doing what she had. And it's like, Dad, this girl did this, whatever. But she needs to like how we supposed to follow our instinct, our gut. A couple of days before that, I had a dream that I got arrested with Bria's dad, and we were in Orange.
Wow.
Driving up there that night, I didn't feel good about it, but I still went. And why I didn't feel good about it? Because I never would go back to the same place within the same week. But that's what I did, because I'm like, all right, we just need quickly, real quick. We already know like how long it's gonna take us to get there, how long it's gonna take us to get back. We'll be able to get back in and out of town.
Cocky with it.
Yeah, definitely got cocky with it or whatever. And I'm saying that to say, when me and my significant other got arrested, we're sitting next to each other in Orange.
Wow.
Literally. And he's like,
this is crazy.
This is crazy. I've never been in the jail arrested with somebody with a woman, like, you still sit next to me.
Yeah.
Normally they separate. We was together sitting here for a while.
So let me just say, so she's referring to upstate. It's upstate New York. It's totally different from where we're from. Like, their world is just different. It just is. So it sounds crazy, but at the same time, I'm like, yeah, I can see that.
It's totally different from the people, from everything was totally different. So now when I got arrested, it was the dead of winter. Wow. So now
and it gets very cold.
Very cold. Snow.
Different kind of cold up there.
It's different up there. So when we go back to court, because now I'm locked up like 2 days.
Oh.
Yeah.
So wait, now, so you didn't see the judge that night?
No, I saw the judge that night. Okay. But the bail, what happened was, why they couldn't come bail me out right away, the bail bondsman people, because it was a snowstorm. Ooh. So, and I was using the bail bondsman place from down here. Oh. So she was saying, I'm not sending none of my bounty guys up there and
get stuck.
Yeah. So you got to sit there and you got to wait. So now as we're waiting, now when I go back for my second court date, I hear the DA talking like to the lawyer at the time that would have been representing us until my pay lawyer came. My pay lawyer ended up coming and everything like that. But they were saying, I heard her, she was like something like the feds, something. So I'm like, the feds, like. So now it's so like how you just said, it's different up there, guys. So going back to the jail, we're all on it. Men and women are on the bus together. I can't believe they've been together. So now me and my significant other, we're together and I'm crying. I'm like, they said that feds. He's like, you ain't going no feds. Calm down, just relax. Like just come, because it was so much to the point where like even he's trying to be like, yo, it's my. They like it ain't your like no. Shit, like if anything, it looked like I had him doing it.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Wow. So it's like, even like people look back and I have been judged, like, why didn't he take the charge? I was in too deep.
Right.
For him to take, like, we both had to take charges. Like, you know, it wasn't like, and like I had to tell my mom, because my mom was upset with him for many years.
Really?
Many years. But, you know, my Mimi, OG, I had to, like, he didn't put a gun to my head. You know, I did what I wanted to do out of my greed of me being greedy. Like, I wasn't forced to do anything. I didn't need to do this in order for me to live.
Like influence.
Yeah, influence.
You was all the way in.
I was all the way in. Right. I basically put him on to. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it just was like, oh, okay. Or whatever. So he's like, no, you're not going. So as we're in court, they have different, like, oh, we have her over here, like different towns. That's coming because now they're investigating and they're running cameras and they're doing everything like that. So with so many different towns, I think it probably was about 7.
Oh, it was going hard.
It probably was about 7. So now when my parents come to bail me out of Oyster County, because they had to bring whatever papers that they had to bring, I had a hold on me.
Okay.
For Glendale, whatever, another
Glen
county.
Falls?
Somewhere up there.
So tell me what a hold is.
A hold is basically when you're charged somewhere else, looking at the same charges in another county. So you have to go over to that county when you're released from wherever you're from. You have to go over to that county and face those charges.
So she couldn't just go home.
So I just couldn't go home. It was the other county deputies that were there to pick me up. So when they came to bail me out, one of the correctional officers said to my father, like, you know, she's not coming home. So my father said, we know that, and we're gonna go over there and go bail her out too, out of there. So they come and get me. It's late at night. Shanice, you know how it is upstate. This is another thing that like God has brought me through. I was 2 white correctional officers.
Right.
We're just driving through whatever street, trees,
like
woods,
jungle, forest,
black, dark. I'm a black girl. My hands behind my back, my feet shackled. I'm like, Lord, please just get me to this jet, because these men could have really have done anything to me out there. And it has happened. Yeah. You know, so I'm just like,
it's different out there.
Yeah, like, please just get me there. Which they end up being really nice. One of them was like, like looking at my page, like, you're from Hempstead, the A+ rapper. I'm like, I don't know about A+ right now. Yeah, shout out to A+. Shout out to you. But yeah, I'm gonna come home. Like, I'm gonna talk about A+ right now. Like, you don't want to hear that. Like, he's from my hood, but I'm not talking about. I need to face this time. So now, when I get there, long story short, call my sister, my ride or die. Like, I'm here. The difference is, they judges wake up. Oh. You don't just see him. So they was like, the judge. So I'm like, I see the judge tonight. When I mean, it's like 2:30 in the morning. I'm like, wait,
they
tonight?
Different.
They different. So see him. So long story short, my lawyer was said to Bria's grandmother, you got to get her out now, because I had to have her in Suffolk County. Remember, I said that I got arrested for credit cards and stuff before. Okay. And got R. So I was out on my own requirements, and I just finished community service at Salvation Army over here in Hempstead. So I was at the end of that, but I had to get in front of that judge that night, that next day, to show, like, listen, she's completed the program, this and that. Because now, if she would have knew that I was upstate, another charge, all that community service would have been done. Yep, wiped away, honey. Wiped away. So went in front of her. That was done. He got that out the way, so she didn't never find out about anything like that. Then after that, they just kept on contacting my lawyer. We have your client over here. We have your client over here. It came to a point, Shanice, when I was driving up there, they would just take my mugshot. They wouldn't even put handcuffs on me because they knew I was bailing right out. Wow. This is shout out to Bria's grandma. Yeah, right. Like, they knew I was bailing out. Yeah. So it came to a point now, all my charges and everything come in. And I felt like, I don't gotta do no time. I never been like, R. I'm good. I'm whatever. So the judge in Albany County, he gave me a 1 and 3. Tell them what a 1 and 3 means. A 1 and 3 is basically 1 year to 3 years. So you have to go upstate, and you may be released. If you do your full time, I went in 2012. If I would have did my full time, I would have been out in 2014. Right. But due to the fact I did Shock, which Shock is a program that you can get. It's a 6-month program, and you get released out within 6 months, but it has to be a non-violent. Tell them like details of like. So Shock is basically a boot camp program that is very like structured. You're waking up at a certain time, you're working out, everything is structured. It's like paramilitary. Yes, right? Exactly. Bag gotta be made. Bag gotta be made a certain way. Your boots gotta be shining in a certain way. Your pants gotta be. And with the women, if you go to put AD ointment on your lips, you could lose your program, or you could get recycled, because that's like they feel like you're trying to be too feminine. So this is why they cut off the women hair. That's why when I came home, I had short hair. Right. Whatever. Wow. They cut off your hair, and you can't have long nails. So you have to keep your nails short or what have you, because what they say that the program is supposed to be to break you down to build you back up. a lot of girls in there I came across so many women, so many hard stories, so many like just like damn. Like
so you also had to have like meetings and stuff too.
Yeah, you had to have meetings. You had to have ASAT. If you didn't have a high school diploma, you went to school. Being I graduated from high school, so I didn't have to go to school. But as far as like ASAT, which is counseling, drug programs, and different things like that. Church, you could go to church on Sundays if you want to go to like whatever. If you're Catholic, Christian, Muslim, whatever, they have the certain days or what have you. Everything is ran in a structure. Right. Military style. You every other week is 1 week, 10-minute phone call, 1 week a visit.
10 minutes?
10 minutes. And if you go
like
over
one call for 10 minutes?
One call for 10 minutes. And then you have a certain time. So your family has to be there.
Like all together?
Like all together, or no, like my sister knew when I was calling.
Right.
On Sundays. And then at the like my significant lawyer was way better than my lawyer. That's a whole nother story. I felt that my lawyer did things with me. He could have probably fought it a little bit different, but also to teach me a lesson, which I'm thankful for now. Because before I used to be very bitter and hateful towards it. You know, but I'm thankful for that now. I felt he was a black man or whatever, well, was paid and everything, but I felt that he probably was like, you're not, if I get you off of this, you're not going to really learn.
Right.
And I felt that I wouldn't have.
That's something. That's
like,
something.
you know, because I was, before that, I was about to start getting on planes.
That's an amazing awareness right there.
Yeah.
Wow.
I had to, like, that was part of me getting over when I came home, because when I came home, I just came home, like, back to, when I left, I had my own apartment, brand new modern apartment, 2-bedroom apartment. My daughter got her own room, whatever. Came back home to my mother's house.
Right.
Beautiful house, but my mother had everything set up, brand new for me.
You had to humble yourself.
You know, I had to humble myself and really point the finger at me and be like, Shana, you did it.
Yeah.
Like, nobody didn't make you go do that. Like, so why are you mad at this man? You're saying what he could have did. You ain't no lawyer.
Right.
You wanted to be a lawyer, but you took another route. So you don't know what this man, you can't be mad at him. Like, that was part of my healing process. Like,
and growing
at the
Love
same
that.
time. Like, you know, because like I said, coming home, it just was like, wow, like I'm home. And even till this day, I came home in November 1st, 2012. This is why I understand sometimes with the men of still being institutionalized, still like feeling like it's new. Because I feel like I've been home for a while and had 2 kids and everything. Like, I didn't come home not too long ago.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, okay, it felt like I just was there.
Yeah. So
you know,
kind of empathize, like when
people, right?
Like when people say stuff like, "Well, Dad, he's still acting like this, or he's still this, and this is you. She's saying this as somebody who has support. A lot of times, even the women, you can probably share that, don't have anybody, so they down there, up there in the freezing cold, doing what they gotta do. Other people making phone calls, they don't have nobody to call. Other people getting packages. However, they get packages.
Well, at when I was in Bedford, I got packages. When I was in Taconic. Because like the CEOs in Bedford used to call me Bowers on tour. Because they used to have to take me to all these different counties for me to cop out before I went to shop.
Oh,
because shop, like, it's just best for you to go in there and all your charges are together. Like because I had a girlfriend that she had to come down to Nassau County. And she would have been coming home before me. But Nassau County kept her down here so long that I came home in November. She didn't come home until February.
Wow.
Because she had to get recycled and start all over again. Because like shock is only for shock. None of your time counts somewhere else.
Right.
It stops at that time and then it picks up when you come back.
Gotcha.
So that's why I made sure, like, I told them, like, no, have me. So they used to be like, Bowers, come on, let's go on tour. Like, and then sometimes we just go up there, they just like, yo, how did you end up here? Like, I was just like, I don't know. Because one day we got lost and the girl was like, where do we go? I was like, I don't know. Y'all know, G, I'm back, shackled up. Y'all asking me for the direction. I don't know. I'm done. Like, y'all supposed to know where we go.
Wow.
You know, so different. It was really a mind-opening experience. When I was there, I couldn't believe it. I talked to myself in the mirror. I'm like, Shana, you in State Greens.
Right.
I went to facilities to see Bria's dad.
Right.
Like, you know,
like this is happening.
This is
You're
happening.
in this.
I have an inmate ID. 12G0164.
Oh, wow.
Never gonna forget.
Wow, never
Like,
gonna forget. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I have a DIN number.
So did you have problems in there?
No. The thing that it is
Everybody was
that
focused.
yeah, like it's nothing like TV.
Okay. You didn't mean to say that.
It's nothing like TV as far as, oh, give me your milk, give me your food, wash my clothes, wash me up. Like, no,
Not wash me up.
yeah, like it's not about that. You do have to be stern if somebody do like try to like, you know, just gotta check them right away just to let them know like who you are or whatever that, like, you know, basically, and that goes back to me, the 12-year-old little girl. Nobody's gonna talk to me anyway. You're not handling me any type of way. Don't get food because of this face. Like, I'll give it up just like you too. We'll go bro for bro. You know, but so now at that time when I'm in there, I'm like, when I'm in Bedford, Remy Martin is in there.
Oh, wow.
At that time, I would see her in the mess hall, see her in the yard, whatever. And so many, like, when I went in the yard, Shanice, I was like, this is where all the pretty women are?
Wow.
So many.
I didn't even think about that.
Beautiful.
I really didn't.
Beautiful women that are doing time. I came in with these two girls. They were from Niagara Falls. And they just was with these guys chilling, whatever. The guys, I think they robbed somebody or I don't know if they robbed somebody or robbed like an establishment. One of the two. One of them was an RN, had a 2-year-old daughter, sentenced to 13 years. As we speak right now, they're still incarcerated.
Do you find that, and because I feel like there's been, just being where I'm at, I feel there's been such an influx of females coming in, going to jail for the robbery thing with guys. Either, you know, they're the ones that's luring people.
Majority of the women that are there because of a man.
God. Yeah.
Because of a man. You have some of them, like I had a bunkie murdered her baby. I can't, you know, in Bedford, like, and everybody goes through, because there's only 3 state penitentiary jails in New York for women. So Bedford is the max, and you go through Bedford. Like, that's like considered our downstate before you go to Taconic or Albion or Shock. Everybody comes through Bedford. So everyone's like, oh, she killed her baby. Like, she drowned her baby, whatever. But she was so sweet. So sweet. And it was hard for me to, I couldn't, like, people
like
judge her. You know, because I at this time, like, who am I? Like, who am I to sit up here? And that also, too, humbled me so much, because when I left, I had put a padlock, like, chain on my closet.
Wow.
So nobody will, so all my bags and shoes and clothes and belts and everything is still here when I come home. That shit was out the window. Once you see, like, wait a minute, I'm in the same as her, or this person next to me, she dope sick. Like, absolutely. You know, like, everybody's the same. Like, there's
Y'all
no,
all got on orange.
we all right. We all got on orange. We all got on green. We all eat the same thing. Or you may get it because you may be blessed enough to have somebody to send you a package. Some people don't.
Say that.
A lot of people don't have that, where, and that's when I learned, like, little things. Like, my significant other, when he was away, when I was home before I even did any time, he used to be like, yo, and he did shock at a point. He like, yo, when they mail call and your name being called, you don't know that feeling. When I got there, like, I would be hurt if my name didn't call. But I was so blessed. I had a great support system. Like, I am truly, truly blessed. Like, a great support system. Even my significant other, like, my sister's like, he already called. Like, he already know you called. Like, you know, he held it down. Like, you know, some people be like, oh, and he didn't do it. Like, nah. Y'all
don't be knowing.
Like, he held it down for him to be a man. Like, as far as, like, I didn't have no work. Like, you know, wrote letters back, sent money, made sure, like, my mother was good, like, my daughter was good, whatever. Made sure everything was good. But it really humbled me, like, listen, Shana, it's not your world.
Come on with that.
Yeah, like it's not
Yes.
your world. Like it's not
This
your
too
world.
shall pass.
And this too, I told Shanice, you speak. I told myself that every single day. I woke up in jail.
That's it.
This too shall pass.
That's trouble
This
don't
too
last
shall
always.
pass.
Mm,
And tough times don't last, but tough people
that's
do.
it. Tell people do, honey.
I always told myself
The
that.
bars.
Like, this too shall pass.
Yeah.
This too shall pass. And then Shana, what do you want to do when you get out of here?
Right. So what was that?
What that was like, so now when I come home,
Were you doing hair inside?
no,
Wow.
no. Wasn't even doing hair inside. Wasn't even doing hair inside. So came home or whatever, came home to Bria. Bria's happy. At this time, Bria thought that I was in Florida at like a fashion school.
Okay.
Until one day I called. And she because she knew the number. And my mother will always answer, tell her like, no, let me answer. I gotta pay for the phone or whatever. So one day she answered and I was like, hello. She was like, mommy, why I sound like you where daddy at?
Ooh, she heard. So what she said, tell them.
So I'm saying it says like when you do the collect call, hello, you have a collect call from inmate Bowers,
Right.
from correctional facility Bedford Hills.
Yeah.
She was so used to that. That's how she remembered her father calling her.
Right.
Or she remembered me like, wait, I gotta set daddy phone call first.
Right.
Now you talk. Even with a grandmother, wait, this is your father.
Woo!
Wait, I got it. So that just had me when my mother got on the phone. I was like, Ma, why would you whatever. So I ended up having to call my mother back and apologize because I felt when I said that like I put too much. Like my mother just was like, she answered it so she was so excited, Shana, when she saw the number, like, oh, my mommy calling. It's my mommy calling.
It was like just in that second.
Just like that, in a second. But at this time, she still didn't put
two and two together.
Because I always told her, do not bring her to see me.
Right.
That's going to, like, already she got to go see her father. With me in there, she's going to be like, I'm done. And then she's just known her father to be in here for so long. So it was like, is my mother coming out? Like, you're telling me that my mother's coming home. Like, are you sure?
That's
so I always said to her, like, mommy be home the day after Halloween. The day after Halloween. So she was counting it down. Right. So shocked, like I said again, it's an intense program. We had times that you would want to quit. They yelling, screaming. You carrying mattresses on your head. Like, you're doing, like, a full throttle. You're crawling on your knees on the pavement.
Like G.I. Jane out this piece.
Right. It's crazy. So I just used to tell myself, like, you gotta push Shana, get home to Bria, this too shall pass, this too shall pass. To where I had a DI bring me in the bubble. DI, what they call their DI is considered a correctional officer in shock. He brought me inside the bubble. The bubble is an office that has the glass or whatever, so that's why they call it the bubble. He brought me in there one day and he was like, Bowers, why are you here? So you always have to ask, like, DR Ralph made this inmate relax. And relax means, like, you don't have to talk with your hands behind your back. You could use your hands, because if you use your hands while you're talking to them or looking them in their eyes, they consider that disrespectful.
Right.
So you're not, so he was like, yes, inmate may relax. So I said, well, I'm here because of counterfeit money. He was like, well, what were you doing with it? I was like, so I told him the story, what I was doing with it. He was like, what, here? I was like, I'm here because I'm supposed to be here.
Right.
He was like, you know, how many years I've been working here? Like, you're the first inmate to ever say that you're here because you're supposed to be here. I was like, well, I broke the law.
Right.
Like, this is what they sentenced, like this is what happened. And a lot of my homegirls at the time used to be like, yeah, Ralph like you, he like you. So I'm like, this man he don't look me like,
right.
You know, he don't like, but he seen something in me because he was like, you won't break.
Right.
So I said, well, I already know what the program is about. And I said, I have a daughter to get home to. And I have a life, like, outside of here. I was like,
focus.
I know you heard this before, but you won't see me again.
Yeah.
He said, and you know what? I believe you.
So
he said, like, he was like, and I believe you. I said, you won't see, like, I have a life out of here. Like, I'm blessed enough to come home and I could, like, chill and try to figure it out.
Right.
So now back to when I come home, I have Bria, whatever, and I come home, I'm on parole and probation.
Now explain that.
So I'm on probation because
What's probation?
Probation is basically where you may go in every other month. It's not so intense like parole.
So probation, she has to see a probation officer.
Yes.
That's who you have to answer to. Excuse me.
Yes, I have to answer to a parole officer and a probation officer.
Okay, why they give you both?
So they gave me both because when I was returning my stuff, I will always go to Suffolk County.
Okay.
I never did Nassau County because me and my friends, we used to call it Nauseous County.
What's that mean?
That means because when you do something in Nassau County, they throw you under the jail.
Oh, that's a fact.
So you ain't throw me underneath the jail.
Yeah, they will have you sitting.
Yeah, I'm not. So
yeah,
I never. And if I did return something out here, there's probably one iPad or whatever. Suffolk County, I used to tear them up. Because Suffolk County, Nassau has their own laws.
Right. This is true.
Nassau County has their own. This
it
is
really is its own world.
It's really its own world. And when you in the game and in the streets, you know certain things. You figure certain things out. You don't want to play with it. You really indeed, you really do. Because at the end of the day, it's only two ways that depending on what you're doing.
Right.
You dead or in jail.
Yeah.
There's nothing that is really going to stop that. So it's only two ways out, or unless you're blessed enough to learn from your experience and get out from your experience and move on from your experience. But some people aren't.
Right.
So Nassau County, since I was out there returning and I'm taking their real cash, they're like, no, girl, we charging you too. So they gave me probation.
Wow. They gonna get you some type of
way.
They
gonna give me some type of way.
Wow.
And being that I live in Nassau County, I'm a citizen of Nassau County, then Nassau County had to take over my probation. So that's why I was.
So now, what's the difference between probation and parole?
Parole is more strict, which means you violate with certain things, you go back upstate.
Tell them what violation means.
Violation means if you get a dirty urine, get another charge.
Dirty urine is if they find
dirty urine, find drugs or alcohol in your system, because you're not supposed to drink or smoke any sort of drug.
Right.
Pills, anything that makes your system dirty, no.
Right.
And if you don't complete your drug program, of course, if you catch a new charge,
right,
you go you
gotta do it full time.
Exactly.
Right?
Probation is a little bit more lenient.
Okay.
Where that they'll probably, and you have to do something really basically if you catch a new charge, then whatever your probation is, then you go do half of that probation time or whatever, however it may, I forget exactly however it may be set up, but probation is a little bit more lenient, but probation they may give you 5 years probation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So my parole, they basically made my probation longer than my parole. But my probation officer was nice enough when parole released me. She was like, what am I keeping you for? Parole let you off.
Nice.
What is probation keeping you for?
No.
So
that was a blessing.
That was totally a blessing.
God, for sure.
That was God for sure. So I would have to go to parole full of guys. And then to that pretty privilege, it would be like, yo, mom, what you in here for? Yo, what you did? What you I do not want to talk.
Not today.
Not
I
today.
don't want to be in here.
I don't even want to be in here.
Right.
Or whatever. Then I got pregnant with Kylie. So I used to be in probation.
With a stomach.
What am I going to do?
Right.
So now when I got pregnant with Kylie, I'm just yo, what? No job.
Right. Because now you're getting used to being home still.
Now I'm getting used to being home.
No, wait, now what year is this?
This is 2012.
And you came home when?
I came home in 2012.
So you're
I had Kylie.
institutionalized.
I had Kylie in 2014.
Right.
Really, a year and a half later, she was born January 30th.
Right.
So it's I'm really still fresh meat, as they would say. Yeah. So I'm home with what Bria was probably 10 or something, with a kid, pregnant, a convicted felon, on probation, on parole. My significant other at the time, he's locked up for other charges or whatever. He's done whatever's outside. So he's doing whatever he's doing. I'm just yo, how am I gonna have another kid?
It's you're at that overwhelmed spot again.
Yeah. So I'm just wow. So now I start taking care. My cousin has a daughter which is handicapped.
Okay.
So she reached out to me and she was like, listen.
Like physically challenged?
Yes, like physically challenged, like she needs help getting dressed, everything.
So what, you had to go to school for like to be an aide, or what was
No, which this was so crazy, it's such a blessing. This agency who my cousin was going through at the time, she can pick who she want to pick.
Oh, wow.
Because I call her my niece. My niece at the time, like she could do a little thing, but you just had to bathe her, put her on a school bus, different, but like she could feed herself because she wasn't born that way.
Wow.
She had got a high fever, and the fever, and it made her retarded.
As in what, she had like a stroke?
She basically like a minor stroke that like she had, because the fever was so high. So once she woke up out of the stroke, like she never came.
The brain activity just was shifted.
Right. It just was shut. Like it just took her way back, or what have you. So she was like, listen, I need another. I'm looking for an aide or whatever to get her ready for school, because who works, she only likes working the nights.
Gotcha.
So I was like,
kind of work and sleep.
Right, like she only like working at night. So I'm like, well, because I'm a felon or whatever. She was like, no, the reason why I'm telling you, because they don't check your background. I hire you. As long as I say that it's okay, they pay you. So that
God, it be God, yo.
It was God. Like, so I started doing that or whatever. So as I started doing that or whatever, I was doing that for maybe Kylie, probably like a year and a half. Like she probably was like a year and a half old. So unfortunately,
you were doing it while you were pregnant through.
I did it like after I had her.
Okay, gotcha.
After I had her or whatever, because the whole time that I was pregnant with her, I just used to watch my little sister's baby or whatever. She would pay me a little bit because it's like I'm just coming home and she's like, oh, all right, well, here I need somebody to watch my baby. It's like daycare. Her and her fiance at the time is like daycare is so expensive with their jobs. Like like you can watch the baby, you can watch him or whatever. God support system or whatever. Of course, wasn't seeing the money that I was used to seeing, but I was like, I just was happy to be home, and I really appreciated my freedom.
Right.
Before I never really took that sit like, oh, I'm free. Like, like, no, I'm free. Like I could do what like anybody's telling me. It just was different. It was like totally different. So now, when she hires me, whatever, I'm working there for her. So maybe probably about a year, and I say Kylie will be 2. Unfortunately, Bria's uncle passed away on a motorcycle, which he was very known, which people probably know him that's watching G Money.
Oh, right.
So he passed away. His mom came to me and was like, I want to open up a hair salon in remembrance of him, which we don't understand to this day why she did a hair salon, because as we know, like he was never into it. Like open up a bar or something, but she's like, she's very Christian. She doesn't want she's like, I'm absolutely not, but never open up. Open up something like that or whatever. So she reached out to me, and I have me and her son not together, haven't been together or whatever. He's just coming home too. Remember when he came home, I was pregnant with Kylie.
Gotcha.
But anyway, she was like, and I want you to help me. I want you to run it.
Wow.
That's what she said to me. So I'm like,
so out of all his family, whoever has been connected to her, she said, I want you to run it.
She said, and I want you to run it.
Yo, this is different.
So I'm like,
this is different.
Okay. So run it. I'm just thinking management at this time. So now I find this hook up with my homeboy that does real estate, put us with another real estate, commercial real estate agent, whatever. We find a space, whatever we find.
So now you won't go.
I won't go.
Yeah.
So now you giving me an opportunity. And also, too, she always know, like, I'm a go-getter. Like, I'm a work. Like, so she was like, okay, I'm talking to the architect, whoever, whatever, picking out furniture, whatever it may be. Now the salon opens. So I'm managing it, whatever. So now I'm talking to one of my friends one day, where I call her my sister friend or whatever. So she's like, I'm telling her, I'm like, Dad, like in order for me to order from this company or whatever, I have to hire somebody with a license. Right. I got to get somebody with a license. So she was like, why won't you go back to school for it?
Oh, boom.
She said, why won't you go to school to get your license?
Wow.
So I was like, I didn't even think about that. or whatever.
Come
so,
on, friend.
Yeah, I'm like, okay. Until this day, she like, stop, it's God. He did it. I'm like, no, but like, you gave me that push. Shout out to Medina.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Team Medina. Or whatever. So, she just like, why don't you go back? So you won't need nobody to do certain things, and nobody have to hold nothing over your head, or you don't have to like, nobody, you gotta worry about nobody getting over on you, whatever. So I went and I registered at Long Island Beauty School in Hempstead, right, Fulton Street. Been here forever.
Shoot, I ain't know one of them.
Right. Yes. Okay. Let me know when you want. Yeah. So went there, and at this time, I just had convicted felon over my head. Like, so I just feel like I'm a convicted felon. There's nothing I can't do, because that's on every application. Have you ever been convicted of a felony? Before I was always on every application that I have filled out in my years, have you ever been convicted for a felony? And
always hear about that question when guys
and that right there
reality.
Is reality. No matter if I'm a woman, if it's checked as female, I'm a that box says yes.
Yeah.
They don't care. They don't want to know what I did.
Nothing else.
What do you? No, you're done. So when I went there, spoke to the counselor, I was like, well, I don't know if I'll be accepted. I'm a convicted. He was like, that doesn't matter.
All right.
I was like, oh, really? He was like, we don't care nothing about that. He said, you got a high school. He was like, you got a high school diploma, right? I was like, yeah, I have a high school diploma. He said, look, you got a high school diploma and GED. You good. So I'm like, oh, bet.
Right.
Okay.
Let's go then.
Like, let's do this. Or whatever. So like how I said, I always knew people in the industry. One of my teachers, who ended up being one of my teachers, used to do my hair.
Come on with the divine connection.
Yes.
Back around.
So I'm just like,
what?
Like, yo, is this net?
Like, this is insane.
Like this is crazy. And she taught me, she already had taught me so much when I just used to sit in her chair in high school. Now she's my teacher. She's still super dope. Now she don't even do hair anymore.
Love it.
Like,
love
you know what I'm mean? Like, she's still dope. Or whatever. So she's there. Or whatever. I register. I start going to school. Whatever. I graduation come. I graduate with my cosmetology license. So I'm like,
now, what year is this?
So this year, this was 2015.
Okay.
2015. So I graduated with my cosmetology license. So now, as I'm at Bria's grandmother's shop, I started taking clients here and there. Because I always knew I could do it, but I just never did it. Yeah. Like, I never was that girl that in high school, like, oh, let me do your hair. No. I'm trying to be outside with the dope boy and show my outfit off. Like, I'm not trying to be standing up nobody's kitchen doing nobody's hair. Like, are you kidding me? Well, I'm sitting in somebody's chair getting my hair done.
It's somebody else's kitchen.
It's somebody else's kitchen. Or I'm at Magdalena.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So it just was like, it just was like totally different. So now when I graduate, I'm starting to take clients at the shop or what have you. So, like, again, Bria grandmother is a very sweet woman, but she's hard to work with.
Gotcha.
She wouldn't let me manage, put it that way.
Okay.
And just was still
like,
micromanaging, still overseeing. Mm-hmm. And I was telling her, like, just because I never owned a salon before, this doesn't mean, or a business before, I don't know what it is and what people want and people expect. Right. Because I go into it looking at it as a client. Right. Not the business owner, not the hairstylist. As a client. Mm-hmm.
Or how I would want to be treated in an establishment.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Exactly. So that's what I try to give out. Mm-hmm. So as it started to get hard working for her, one of my friends worked for this corporate hair salon. Mm-hmm. So she was like, go get a job there. It's a blowout place, a blowout bar. Go get a job there, but more or less for Caucasian women. Gotcha. Went there or whatever, got the job right on site or whatever. So they was like, okay, we just need your fingerprint. So I'm like, dang, fingerprint. But now, listen, she was like, listen, we don't care whatever you did, if you ever got arrested. This is just for when you check in, for when you type it so you get paid. Okay. So I was like, woo. Because remember me, convicted. Yeah. Like, you would have thought it was
I got nervous.
Yeah, like you would have thought it was like I was holding up a sign. It was like, Shana, relax. Like,
right.
So I'm like, you gotta explain to everybody.
But no, but you're still kind of fresh out.
Yeah.
It was.
Right. When it goes back to be saying what it meant institutionalized.
Yeah.
I'm still institutionalized because you're not like you're
you think as soon as you're looking at me,
you're just know I just came home. Like I've been there before. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I got this job and now they go. So she was like, no, we don't care if you ever been arrested before. So I was like, oh, thank you. First one, like, yeah, please. First time I'm ever happy to get my fingerprint. Like, go ahead, take her fingerprint.
Come on, Sandy. Let's go, Nancy.
I don't mind.
We thumbing out here.
Now, what finger do you want? You want all of them? Like, which one do you want?
I'm telling you.
So that happened, and I worked for that company. I started working for that company in 2016. And I just stopped during pandemic.
Wow.
Just stopped during pandemic. So now, the whole time during pandemic, I'm saying to my significant other, I'm saying to my friends, everything, I want my own hair salon.
Shana, speak those things.
Yo, and I like this is why I tell people, you speak it into existence.
That's the one.
The universe will return it back to you. Because
God spoke the world into existence.
Absolutely. I have prayed so many times for it. Like, God, I already had like the chairs and everything that I wanted in my phone and my notes.
Yeah.
Like, you would have thought that I had the money.
Come on, Shana.
You would have thought I had the money.
Help somebody.
Yes. You would have thought I had the money. Didn't have $1 to third.
Right.
I'm on unemployment. I got kids here. Pandemic.
Everything was closed.
I have my daughter that's in 11th grade. I have my little one that's in kindergarten. Like, I just had charm.
It was real.
Yeah, because I had charm in August. I went back to my corporate job, hair salon job in December after Christmas.
Wow.
So I wasn't, and then when we went into like March, because I remember Brian's birthday's in March. Yeah, like it was right after that. So I wasn't at work back at work that long. So I just like, I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back. Like, I want to have my own shop. Like, so now I started to get into the thinking of what type of shop do you want, Shana? Okay. I knew I didn't want the average shop. And then I looked at where I was at and what was missing.
Okay, explain that.
And what was missing was being that my job was basically for Caucasian women. They would say Black women are welcome, of course, but I had to tell one of my employees because they got mad one day, for example, that a Black woman walked in there and was like, can I get her? It was me and one of my coworkers that was next to me we still tight to this day. We were Black. Right. So when you walk in there, you basically, and even when you see the commercials and everything for this place, I ain't giving them no props, but for this place or whatever, you would see white women. Right. So I'm like, during pandemic, we had no time but to think.
The facts.
So I'm like, all right, Shana, if you do this, how do you want it? I'm like, I could make it a blowout bar, SB Blowout Bar. Of course, white women are welcome in my place of business, but let me do this for the sisters.
Yeah.
Of where it's an in and out service. It's, we're so known for paying so much money for our hair.
That's a fact.
We're so known for being like, even our men are like, you gonna get your hair done? Yep. Like, basically, I see you tonight. Like, right. I see you, or like, so true. Right, if we have a date, we're going a day before.
Your hair is everything.
Your hair is everything. So I'm just like, what can I do that will set me apart from everyone else and that I can build on and build a brand that I can see, turn into a franchise, basically. So I said, you know what? Blowout bar. So I must have talked my man head off about this so much. It just was a blessing enough that he got himself together where he was able to be in a situation where he purchased it for me. Believed in my dream.
Yes.
So one day he sends me a text message of a video of him inside of now
Where you
my
are,
shop
your
where
shop.
I'm at now. So I FaceTime.
I got chill, child.
Yeah, I'm like, you lying. So I hear the guy in the back like, what's your name and your number and this and that, whatever. So I FaceTime, he answered. So he was like, how much you love me? How much? So I was like, oh my God. I immediately start crying and everything. Like, he like, stop crying. You know, I hate the question. I was like, but no, you believe in my dream. You believe in my dream.
Love that.
Or whatever. Then also too, he would see Bria doing hair in the house. Bria doing makeup in the house. Also too, I'm like, you did this to get us out the house. Like enough of these people coming in and out of here. Y'all doing hair, makeup, it's hair all over the damn place. No, I'm gonna find y'all a building or something and put y'all in it and y'all go in there.
It's like, whatever the reason, thank you.
Right. Whatever your reason it was, thank you.
Yeah, I
But-
still still be in my dream, but it could be a little bit of both.
It could be a little bit of both. I'll take it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll take it.
Wow.
So now, as the time goes on, he calls me one day. He's out of town. He's away on a guy's trip or whatever. He like, check your email. So, you know, sometimes with men, they use our email like for every little thing. So I'm like, think maybe it's just something in there or whatever. Because he had told me like, oh no, you didn't get it, whatever, due to your credit or whatever. So I was like, well, let's not be mad. Like, you know, God, whenever he see fit,
Yeah,
he's gonna
it's gonna
see
happen.
fit. It's gonna happen. Like, I'm not gonna sit up here. I'm not gonna worry myself. I do have a job to go back to
Right.
if I like when it's time. Once this pandemic is over, if it comes to that.
Right.
And when it's time for me to open up, I will open up.
Right.
So now when I go to open up the email, it was like, congratulations, Shana Bowers. Please come down with such. I was like, what? He was like, girl, you got a shop.
He's like, you a business
Yes.
owner.
He was like, girl, you
This
got a
is
shop.
dope.
And he didn't want his name or anything.
Right.
He was like, this is for
you.
y'all. Like, this is you. Like, I see. So now as the time was going on, we find the construction guys. He like, yo, what you need in here? I'm like, a bar.
Mm-hmm.
He like, a bar. He like, what? I'm like, remember the time you came to my, because I talked about it so much to him.
Uh-huh.
He popped up at my job one time. And my manager, I'm coming out the washroom, shampooing here. Washroom. So she's like, somebody's here for you. So I walk up. And I'm like, what are you doing here? So he like, yeah, da, 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 da. So my manager, she was so super. She was like, he's handsome. She like, da, 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 this and that. She done told the whole job. So the whole job, like, let me see him. I'm like, why would you tell the whole entire job that? So as he walked out, he was like, I see what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
I was like, you see, right?
Love that. Come on, yeah.
You know?
With the support from
Yes. Yes.
I love
So
to
that
see it.
was definitely a support. Like, he just was like, a bar. I'm like, they're going to get their hair done
Fire.
at the bar.
Dopeness.
So that's how that came. Like, okay. Then I already remember I said I had everything in my notes already.
Right.
Like I had the money
Yeah.
months ago. So I already knew I wanted to do green.
Mm-hmm.
Green with
Yes,
natural.
nails.
Yeah.
Everything.
Gotta
I said, she
represent
really do
SB.
love green.
Yes.
I said, wow.
Yes. So I'm like, okay, natural, nature,
Love it.
green.
It's so beautiful.
Like, you know, like, okay. And I want my clients, because like I said, I think as a client, I don't think as a business, like as a business owner.
Right.
Certain things, yes, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But client comes first.
Yeah.
You know, because I know what I want and I know what I don't want. So I'm just like, okay, green, whatever. So he's just like, even when I went to go pick out the balls of the lights, he on the phone with his friend, like, yo, she picked out the green lights. I don't know, that's a color. Once everything came with it, he like,
This
yo,
is fire.
this is fire. And now leave it up to him, he did it every, I just want to say, baby, paid. Like, you know, but it's like, you know, it's truly a support system. So I already knew when I was going into it, this is for people, like when you're going to go open up a business, you have to know what you want and what type of clientele customers that you're going after.
Yeah, I definitely want you to tap in because what I saw you do recently, I said Shana is gonna be amazing.
Yeah, that's my thing that is one of my major things that I really want to start doing is like giving back, and also to I want to start some way somehow a non-profit for women coming home from incarceration.
I am
you
here
know,
to help with that.
Yeah, like, you know, because
that's literally on
I
my
feel
vision
that
board.
there is not enough programs for us. A lot of things are just for the men. You see, but for the women, it's like we're hidden. It's like you got to go through certain crevices and know certain things, know certain people for you to get the help. And then at that, with the young girls, I want to do something with them too as well, because especially in this time, like I didn't come up with social media, but since I said I was like imagination and things that I saw, I wanted, and I could only imagine being a teenager now in this world with a lot going on where you have to try to prove yourself to feel like I'm that girl. Yeah. Like, oh, I got this. Like, you know, like women is selling their souls for Chanel bags and shoes and different things like that, and BBLs, like dying. Yeah, like dying, like, you know, and it's just for, it's not even for them. And I don't even want to even place blame on men anymore. No. It's just like, just with, for likes, follows, yeah, but like just for attention. And it's just like, listen, baby girl, you could get like, and all that is wiped away, or it's been stories that have led, I have friends that have passed away with certain situations, like, you know what I'm saying, that aren't here to raise their kids. You know, so it's just like, it's totally different. Like, that's something that I wanted to get into, but I always, like, when I went into it, I'm just like, what can set me apart from everybody else? I'm not coming into this game. I'm coming into the game with women that have been in the game 20 years, 10 years, 15 years, or whatever. And I'm coming just to learn and just try to, and just share what I have and put what I have into it. I'm not trying to come in and step on no one's feet. Right. I'm not trying to come in and try to be with somebody and duplicate anything. No. And I'm sticking to the plan. I'm building my kids an empire. Like, you know, sometimes my man get aggravated with me. He's still about to this day, but I'm like, babe, like, this is a brand I built it. Like, this is happening. Like, you gonna come to me like, damn, like you said it. You said it. Like, just be patient with me. Like just hold on. Like, you know, just take the ride with me. Like, yes, any business that you start is gonna be hard. It's time. It goes in waves. It goes in waves. And this is my first year. I've been open now for a year. You know, congratulations. Thank you. Been open for a year. Course, have my hard days. Course, like, but I'm just like, you know what? God is not gonna give me nothing that I can't bear. Like, He's gonna do it when I'm, and I just feel, because I just be talking. I'm like, God, I know I'm not supposed to. I know I told you to take the stress away from. I know I'm not supposed to keep on worrying about it, but just please, like, I'm sorry for me keep on. I know I said I put it in your hands. I'm sorry that I keep on praying, like, just like you know me, you know my heart, like, you know, I know he like this girl, you know me, right. Like this girl, like, girl, I know who you are. Like, I'm not even worried about you. Like, you just need to you just need to relax, right? Exactly. Like, didn't I always come through? Right. You know, like, I've always came through for you. So why wouldn't I come through for you with this? This too shall pass. Yes, this too shall pass. So that just was my thing when I came into like SB Blowout Bar. Or whatever, and what I wanted. I already had on my mind, like, and also too, being with that, when you building a brand, I have some people, some clients, some that like, oh, that's all you, oh, you don't do that, you no, and I'm not changing. And that's what I wanted you to tap into, that I saw recently that you had posted. You were very, very, very clear. Like, this is what I'm doing. This is what's happening. And I said, she keeps, first of all, let me say this. And I've said it a few times when I have people come on. Every client is just not your client. And that is absolutely okay. That's why when you see people do subliminals on social media, I'm like, y'all got to stop doing that. Because you look like you're in your feelings right now. That person's just not your client. And that is okay. There's going to be some people that's like, that's too expensive. There's going to be somebody that's like, oh, that's it. Here you go. And give you a whole tip. You understand what I'm saying? So you got to stick to who you are. SB Blowout Bar is not going to be like the next person. She's going to focus on that. That's the vision God gave her. That's who she is. Absolutely. So you got to focus on what God gave you. Yep. And it's gonna work. Yep. Absolutely. And that was my thing, because even to this day, like, I have some women that will come in now that are my regulars. They like, I ride past here every day. I thought this was for white women. Then I have clients that will come in here like, what is this? I just want to be in here because it's nice. Like, what are you doing here? So I'm like, me, I'm blowouts, whatever. My daughter is in the back, like, you know, she does makeup, wigs, and also even with my daughter, people think
Yeah,
she's very like my daughter Breeze Beauty Key
Hello.
on Instagram.
That's it.
She's very, very mature for her age. And I tell like, they're like, oh, can I get her? I'm like, you have to go speak with her. Like she
Okay.
runs her own business. She runs her own business.
That's a fact.
And I respect her as a businesswoman.
Right.
So that she helps me with things like, no, mom, you can't do that. You got to do it this way. Like, you know, and she's very, like, she's for the brand too. Like, her brand is just like so, she's just so super dope. And like when I speak on it, I know people like, oh, she just saying because it's her daughter, but no, super dope.
She's different. Check out her page.
Yes,
she's
like
different.
very different. Like I tell her, like
I gotta
your
get her
hands,
up here too.
yes, like
She's
your
different.
hands are truly blessed.
Absolutely.
Like, you know, your hands are truly blessed because that's when she started doing makeup at like 12.
This young lady was doing classes for makeup at what, like 14?
Yes.
14 years old. I said,
14.
I'm gonna have to take her class. Because
14. I used to have to
Self-taught.
threaten her, like, you're not going to go work at the shop, like at her grandmother's shop when she started working. Be like, or you're not going to take any
First time I
clients
got my makeup
if you
done
don't,
there.
yeah, if you don't pass this test.
I'm like, she's
Or,
really a child.
like I would have to like
Really
tell
is.
like, you know, she was like, all right, mom, I did my, I'm like, but Brie, you cannot be in the shop all night. Like you have to get home and do homework. Like you got school tomorrow. Like, you know, that's one thing I kept on like, listen, I would dead all this. If you bring me home one, but she didn't. Like she basically like, here, you don't got nothing to say.
Just a great kid.
Yes, just a great kid.
Oh,
like
God.
there's nothing. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So with her being there, you know, people would just be like, "What is this? This is nice." And then once I would explain it to them, and so many, also too, back to why I picked natural, which you can have a relaxer or what have you, but why I picked natural hair as far as straightening. Because like I said, I don't do locks, twists. So when people hear natural, they think braids, locks, and twists. And this is to straighten your hair. But also too, for you not to lose your curl pattern.
Right.
Because so many of my clients, I be saying, yeah, my poor babies are so traumatized from going other places and different things like that where they have lost their curl pattern. And like when you're natural, you have a dope curl, like you don't want to lose it.
It's yours.
It's yours.
It's yours.
And then a lot of people are not into the relaxers anymore.
Right.
It's not a terrible thing, but you just have to know who you're going to maintain it. But also,
But
too,
natural
it has risen. And then now with me starting this, so many of my clients be like, oh my gosh, I've been looking for this. And then my prices, this is why. Also, one of my clients said to me, why you lower your prices? You need to back up your prices. I said, I lower my prices, one, because how fast I am. At my old job, the faster you are, the more money you make.
Gotcha.
So even if I try to go slow, like I'm just used to, then I have in my mind in and out service.
Right.
In and out service. I don't want you sitting here. Once I start to hire my staff, there's no client that should be sitting there no more than 7 minutes. In 7 minutes, I'm gonna be a little bit happy.
Wow.
That must mean we're super busy. Like we're packed. Like, you know what I'm saying? Other than that, no, this is gonna be ran on a time consumed where able before you go to brunch, you come to get your hair done, dress, makeup done, you go get, you don't gotta, oh gosh, I'm rush home. Or I'm going to a wedding, or I'm going here, like, you know, I gotta go hours before. You come on your lunch break. Like, you know, like different things. Like in that way, once I start to hire staff, that I'll be open 7 days a week, longer hours. Like, you know, different things like that. So that's why when it came into natural, I'm like, and there's so many of my clients be like, yo, my hair got straight. It stayed straight for 2 days. Like, I didn't work. One of my clients was like, I was doing stuff on purpose. Like, when is my hair going to sweat out? And then she said, then when I washed it, I had curls.
Yeah. Come on in here.
I said, I'm not giving you anything that I'm not supposed to be doing. So now they're starting to get the drift of it.
Really appreciate
it and really understand, because me thinking as a client, I got to stick to what basically I promised you to get you in and out. So I can't have, like, even when I say to my client, like, oh, I'm sorry, they're like, girl, I was sitting here 3 minutes, not even 3 minutes, like, it is okay, like take your time, like, you're good. But I just like, you know, I just want you guys to just be so, like, when you walk in my place, I just want you to be at ease. I serve mimosa, champagne, wine, water.
Beautiful.
Yeah, wintertime I'm going to start to do like hot chocolate, tea, coffee. just a way that take it back to the old school where, when you went to the hair salon,
everything.
It was everything. Everybody, your hairstylist,
your
like
safe space.
Right, look great. You wanted to go dress.
Yes.
Like that's one thing that I told my daughter, like you're never standing up working in a bonnet.
Right.
And that's so up and like up and coming. Like you have to look presentable. Like people, that takes you a long way because now everything is about what people see.
Right.
And the physical.
Absolutely.
Of what, like, oh wow, you could do hair horribly, but if you look nice, you just, I'm going to her.
Right.
Just because she looked like, then you can look bad and do great hair, but nobody's coming to you because you don't look welcoming.
Right.
Like, and in our world and our culture, we're just so known as hairstylists. Oh, she mean, she got an attitude, like she's a bitch, this and that. So when they walk in,
vices is this, and she had to be there for 5 hours.
Yeah, she had to be there for 5 hours. Yeah. And then also too, a lot of these new hairstylists, they have so many rules and regulations.
No, please touch on that because seriously,
so many rules and regulations. Like
I don't know who teaching who what, but y'all get this thing all wrong.
Yeah, that's what
it's
like,
weird.
And I see it because like my daughter, she does the wigs and the weaves and different things like that. And one thing that I told her when we received the shop and was going under construction, I said, Bria, when you start to get your clients, when the shop opens, offer them to wash their hair.
Right.
Stop having them. You're not in the house no more. They need to come with their hair braided, this and that.
Hair wash. I don't get it.
I don't get it.
Started that?
I don't get it.
This is my thinking, and you can help me with this. In my brain, this is my brain because I'm just a regular person. When I'm thinking about somebody washing their own hair, how do you know if they're doing it well? What products are they using? Some products strip your hair. Some products leave a film. Now, what if that can disrupt the style that you're trying to do because you don't trust them to wash their hair. So now you like, did you wash your hair? Now you got a question. That's taking up time.
Yeah,
from the style. So I don't get that.
I don't. And when I told her that, and her client started, and her assistant would be like, "Oh, do you want your hair washed?" They would look like a deer in headlights.
Right, like
what? And some of them be like, "I wash it, but you can wash it again."
Yeah.
Like even from my clients. If they have a scarf or bottom, they're like, my hair look. I'm like, it's supposed to look a mess underneath here. Like you're supposed to walk in here looking a mess, and you're supposed to walk out of here looking great.
Exactly.
Like I would have like some of them that will call, like, do I need to wash my hair before? I'm like, please don't.
You feel uncomfortable when they say that?
Like yes, I'm like, what have you guys have been like? What have they been doing to y'all out here?
I don't know. It's bizarre. I don't know, and it's like. You want them to wash their own hair, but then you charge what you're charging.
Right. You have to make it make sense.
Yeah, it's not making
like I have to wash my hair, blow dry my hair, braid my hair, and then you still charge me $500 or whatever your price is to put the wig on my head or the weave in my head. And meanwhile, I done bought the bundles, the hair, whatever. Then I'm supposed to tip you on top of that. Then I probably was here about 5 hours. You probably ain't start on me until about an hour later.
And then you want to charge me if I'm late, but I can't charge you.
You late. Right.
It's
I could be sitting there before you.
It's too much.
Like it's too.
I don't know what happened, but somebody hit this with it.
Yeah, it's too much. I have so many clients that will call and be like, "Oh, is the wash included?" Or I don't see. I know you say only but I don't see wash. I'm like, no, it's on there. You're more than welcome to bring your shampoo and conditioner because I want to see what you're using. Absolutely. But other than that, no, I don't need you to wash your hair before you come because I'm going to do it all over. You may have washed your hair last night. Right. You still have you slept.
Yes.
So that still build up on you. So your hair may not straighten the way that I want it to straighten. If I didn't wash your hair.
I don't know. Somebody did something, child.
I don't know what is
getting it wrong.
Getting it wrong and becoming lazy and entitled, and it's just like I never hate on getting to the bag, but it's just like you have to
integrity.
Have integrity, and you have to look at it from a client's point of view as a client. How would you feel if somebody did that to you? Yeah. And then it'd be like, oh, well, I have other clients. Well, then you need to do your time schedule correctly.
Get that book together, ladies.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It becomes a lot. I've been seeing so much. And like I said, when I came up in the game with my aunts and everybody, they would be looking like, you have a scarf on your head?
Right.
We'll stand up in 6-inch heels doing hair. Like, that's the era that I came from. Like, where you look, even if you go put your flats on, you still is from head to toe. Remember Shades of Essence? Like, my sister, I used to love going there with kids. It was so many different hairstyles, but everybody had their own sense of style. I can't remember going into a hair salon when I was young and
everybody looked crazy.
Like
they just woke up.
Yeah,
they was put together, honey, in our day.
Yeah, definitely.
Wow.
And that's what I'm trying to bring back. Like, that's why I'm not like, renting chairs too much or do anything where I want to hire my employees, is because you're going to come to work looking a certain way. Yes, I want you to be comfortable, but no, you work in a hair salon, your hair should be done. If you do have a cap on or something, have some makeup on, like look some presentable where you want to look welcoming in our culture that just has downhill. And I've been in both, like in the that don't go on. That does not go on. That does not go on. It does not happen. They're looking at you like, what?
Like, you want to go home?
Right. I had to tell one of my co-workers that she's so sweet. When did she came with a scarf on her head back at my old job, I pulled her to the side. I was like, listen,
okay?
Like, you want me to do your hair or something? She like, no. I'm like, well, you need to make that scarf look cute. I'm like, look where you at. They already looking at you like you crazy, like you know what I'm saying. So now you walk like that's why when you walk, they looking at you like you're beneath, like nasty. Like you all right? Mm-hmm. Like no,
come on, Shana, help somebody. Come on, definitely. Owners, we gotta do better out here.
Yes, we definitely do.
Yeah.
We all
do your due diligence.
Yes,
and do right.
Right. When I feel you're doing it from the heart and you're doing it with integrity and you're just not about the money. Like, yes, of course we all need money. Don't get me wrong, to survive, we need it. But when you are like, when you in this and you want it, like I'm in it and I want it. Like there's no other way for me.
Right.
Like I
keep telling y'all there's no plan B.
Yeah, like there's exactly.
You either win or you winning.
Right. Like there's no plan B for me. I can't go back like and be like, oh, I can get a job at another hair salon, but I don't want to work underneath anyone else. Right. That's also too what made me want. I'm like, this white woman is a millionaire already. Mm-hmm. Come on with the bars. Not close to a billionaire. Yeah. Like I'm sitting up here still making her dream come true. Like while she's on the beach, like getting paid, getting deposits while she's like,
while she's calling and that them checks is being
they being you on that cell phone.
That's it.
That's my goal.
Come on with the bar, Shana.
Yeah, like come on. So it's like, why am I sitting up here just steady? Like I said, in pandemic, everybody mind started. So that's why they like, oh, nobody wants to work. No, a lot of people have their own business now. A lot of people
jumped out on their own.
A lot of people jumped out on their own fate because like we really seen the world like shit. Like, if unemployment don't answer or whatever, like what would I have? Like what, like how? Or am I supposed to make it off of this? But I'm getting you're not gonna be able to do it.
Come on, Shana.
You can't
help the people. It's a fact. It's real. It is real. Listen.
Yes.
So
definitely. Thank you. Yes.
Y'all have to please go check out her space because I said this is stunning. You weren't there when I came. I had to go get my makeup done. I said I had to come here and get my little hair washed now.
Yes. Like I tell my client, even if you just come get your hair washed, if you into wigs, whatever, and that's what I tell Bria too. Like she's teaching her clients how to maintain their hair underneath their wigs and different things like that. It's just a lot like it's our crown. It's supposed to be like, let's get it back to where how it used to be healthy. Mm-hmm. It's okay to wear your real hair. That's one reason why, because I love my pixie cut. Right. I enjoyed it, but I'm like, you know what? That is part of when you know what you're trying to build, what you have to like sacrifice, what you have to change. And I was like, you know what? My hair. Yeah. I gotta let my hair grow back because basically I am my walking business card.
You absolutely say that one.
Like
I don't got a shirt today, but I usually got on one of my t-shirts.
Right.
Walking billboard.
Yeah, you're your walking billboard. Nobody is gonna build your brand the way that you want your brand to be built. Right. Nobody is gonna support you wholeheartedly the way you like. Yeah, you may have it, but you have to think about if people don't support you.
Right.
Like, like are you still ready to stay on that road? If people don't understand,
You stand in
what
the rain.
right? But now I have people that I went to school with that like, oh, now she doing hair. What's making her do hair? This and that. It doesn't matter. I'm here.
We do not care.
Yeah, like I'm here. I'm here, and if you do, I'm not here to step on your feet. I just found my own lane, and I'm just staying in my lane and building my brand of what I want to see my business look like. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like that's it. I want to live and leave. When I leave here, my kids are more than good.
Absolutely.
More than good, and good where, okay, my mother bust her ass and work.
Absolutely. I remember them days when.
Yeah, I remember them days when, like, because the fast money, is good, but then it comes to an end. Like,
it has a price.
It has a price to be paid. And the route that I was going, why I feel like Jesus was like, God was like, of course, stop. Because you about to go away.
Like, I'm going to let you do a little bit. Now you're doing too much.
Right. Right. Like, you're doing way too much now. So now I'm going to have him make you sit. Like, I'm going to tell, like, you pull you back. Like, and sit you down for you to really think of where you at. And then now where I'm at in my life, I just be like, God, like,
it had to be him.
Yo, it's you. Like, yo, you show it
all
out.
You.
Like,
all you.
Like, yo, when you show it out.
Love that,
so,
Shana. That's amazing. So now, what's next?
What's next is, like I said, I want to try to figure out, I'm starting to look into nonprofit. I want to start to do something with that. If we could you could probably help me out with that.
I already got the wheels turning.
Yeah,
how you say when you see, I'm the same way.
Yeah, with with speaking to women, going to the facilities and speaking to them, telling them my story, telling them how it was, in that you can start to figure out what you want to do, where you want to be when you come home. What type of take advantage of these programs, these trades that's in here. It may be something that you would never see yourself doing, but you may have to sacrifice to do it. Absolutely. Instead of you coming home and sacrificing your freedom and going back in. SB Blowout Bar, I just want to keep on opening them up.
Next, the SB is for Shana Bowers.
Yes, SB is for Shana Bowers. I want to start my own product line with that. I want to eventually have my own champagne and wine.
Love it.
So, like, next time I want to start going to like the wineries and different things like that, and start to start that brand. So we basically everything is built underneath SB Blowout Bar, and then just get my products in the beauty supply stores and Target, Walmart. Like, that's all the goal, and I speak about it so much because I tell people, like, I am a living proof of speaking something into existence. God
will do it.
God will do it. Yes, he will. Like, my friends would be like, I said, I know I used to talk out there. He's like, we don't care. Like, they like, girl, go ahead and do it. Like we see it. And I used to, like, I had on my vision board in my phone, like, no more than 5 chairs. I have 4 chairs. No more than 3 sinks. I have 3 sinks. Like, it just was, everything was, I opened up so easy. Like, it was already a hair salon. I had to worry about this building. And also, too, with me helping Bria's grandmother, that helped me a lot to see, like, what the business is like, what the experience is like. So that's basically what it is next with me. I just want to just be able to go on platforms like how you have me here, speak my story. Because before, I used to be very, I don't know if it's ashamed, but I used to be very like, are they going to judge me? Are they going to, like, I don't want my clients to know. Yeah, like, I don't want my clients to know that I was incarcerated for fraud. They may think I'm trying to take data. Right. And one of my clients, I told her one day, and she jumped up, she said, "This just make me respect you more." Okay? She said, this make me, like, and I just was like, wow, like, so some of them, like, and I just say, like, God, like, just guide my words. Yeah. So if I feel like I need to speak about it, then it comes off my tongue. Yeah. And I don't feel, like, bad about it anymore. And I'm starting to feel more at ease because it's so many, like, when I did the event at Eisenhower Park, right? First, I was in the wrong place. for a while, like the wrong section.
Okay.
So now I
okay.
finally found my area.
Mhm.
So now when I get there, basically like all the entrepreneurs must have spoke already.
Mhm.
So I get up and I speak after, because being I got there late.
So
the
let me
last
just tell them
person.
what it is, or you just tell them what it is.
Oh, it was
It was girls talk, right?
Yeah, it was girls talk. Nassau County gave. It was like for youth, where it was a day in Eisenhower Park. Beautiful, like so many different tents of like to help them go to school. Fun, like it just was really, really super dope, super dope. So when before me, it was lawyers and judges that was speaking before me. So I'm like, oh gosh, like now I'm about to get up, like so I'm just like said a prayer before, like Lord, if it's meant, but it's a roll off my tongue, it shall be, like
Mhm.
So when I got up there, Shanice, I just started talking, and I was like, my name is Shana Bowles, whatever. I was a teen mom. I was incarcerated. When I mean the whole tent just gravitated. Like when they started talking on the mic, them girls didn't even. My sister friend was like, they didn't want to get up. They didn't even want to move. They was consuming stuff. Then when we got up, and then the lawyers and the judges are saying, "Oh, I graduated from alumni. I went over here and practiced. I was overseas for this many years." And I'm just like, I'm a girl from I'm a girl from Wandra Terrace Avenue.
God will put you in the place.
Yes, like a convicted felon, a teenage mom, like what? And I'm in this, like I'm in a row with them. Then after it, everybody came up to me. And it was this white woman that came up to me, and she stood out because like I just was like, oh gosh, like sometimes you'd be like, they just think that your average story is like, oh, mom was on drugs and this and that. So that's why I always say, like, my parents are still married to this day.
Right.
And still together. Yeah, like, I still come like from like my dad is Poppy. Like, like working parents. Like they are around. They're here, thank God. Oh, whatever. She came, she was like, your story, we need to hear that more. Like, this was crazy. She does something with that, so I forgot. But she was like, yeah, this was crazy. She was like, this was so good. So many more people need to hear this. Yeah. Like, and I just was like, it's nothing but God that has, and that was one of my things too that was on my vision board in my phone. Like, I just want to give back and speak on my experiences and what my mind used to be when I was growing up, where I was coming up at. Like, I see the crackheads and all of that type of stuff, whatever, have had drug addicts in my family or what have you, but it's all about choices that we make. And you can't don't let your past dictate your future.
Right. It's not where you're from, it's where you're going.
It's where you're going. And I didn't have that. Yeah. Like, coming up, and even when I came home from jail, like I'm in drug program as a white man that is my counselor. He don't know my story. He can't relate to me. Like he can't tell me. This woman that's my parole officer, she just like, I had one parole officer, she's like, you must be smoking weed. I'm like, I'm not gonna get a violation for smoking weed. Right. It's because I had an everything bagel with the poppy seeds.
Oh yeah.
I didn't have a clue. Shanice, I was about to cry. Because I'm thinking she's about to
violate
that. I go home crying to my father. My father don't play. My father called up to the parole. Like, you would still thought that I was 10. The next time she came out to my house, the supervisor was wild. Wow. And the supervisor was like, okay, come on, we could go. Like, basically, like, what are you in trying as a little newborn? Right. At the time, so I'm like, smoking weed, like, what are you talking about? Like, why would I? So I used to jeopardize that. So that's what I was just telling the young girls, like, it's not about like where you came from, if your parents was on drugs, your mom, or you was raised by your grandparents. Like, just stick to what you want in your mind, and you go after it. If you want school, you go for school. If you don't feel school is for you, school may not be for you, because school wasn't for me. I knew already, but I'm not going to college. But I always wanted to be, it's so crazy, a criminal lawyer. Right. But like, how do I want to be a criminal defense lawyer and I don't want to go to school? But then I ended up on the wrong side of the law. And then when I did used to practice law in high school, Miss Elder, she was like, whatever you do, you need to go to school for law.
Right.
Like
Wow.
your arguments, like you know,
Uh-huh.
and I would like to this day I still watch all. I mean,
Right,
why are you watching this? Like, what is wrong with you? Like why are you watching this? Like, what is your like? You're not tired of it. I'm like, cause I ain't going back.
I'm straight.
I can watch it all day,
I know
all
that's a
day.
fact. On the TV.
Right, on the
On the flat
TV.
screen.
Right, that's it. They
Don't
ain't
worry about me being green today.
You don't got to worry about me. I ain't taking nothing that don't belong to me.
I know that's a fact. Oh my God, that is awesome. But yeah, I saw the photos. I think I was away when I saw Girls Talk. Shout out to Girls Talk.
Yes,
Amazing,
definitely.
program. If you don't know what we're talking about, please look it up. It's GIRLZ Talk.
Yes.
Look it up. And also Boys into Men as well. They're connected through the Church of Zion. Amazing organization, you know, helping the youth and the young ladies, you know, in the communities be exposed to different entrepreneurs, different avenues that they can take on. It's just an amazing organization. So I was so happy to see that you were a part of that. And you know, I saw part of the clip and I was like, I gotta get Shana up here, man. And it made me proud because I was like, she's told her story. That's what I'm thinking about.
Yes, because
even she was I said she was authentic and transparent, and it had me.
And that's all I said. I just was like, because even my friend, my best friend was like, so what are you gonna say? Like, you haven't. I said, I don't want to write anything down.
Yeah.
I said, I just want to speak from my heart. Like, I don't want to write and have to try to remember what or look at my. I just feel like it's not real. It's not genuine. I feel like it's just made up. Like, I just made up this story. No, like and that's why I tell people I may be all over the place because things may come back like, oh, wait a minute,
And
like, this happened or that happened or what have you. And the young ladies of the program, Nassau County Youth Center or whatever, they had reached out to my aunt that does state board, and they was having a program where, like, you know, they was doing like free makeup, free facials, and here they asked for my salon to participate. So we participated in it, and then that's when they come to ask me to speak or whatever. They didn't know my story. They came up to me like,
oh wow,
we didn't know this.
Love that.
And we need you again. So I'm like, anytime, like, you know, if it just saves one person, that's all that matters. Because it's just now I just see, like, that's also too what I'd be so thankful to with my daughter is that because the era that she's growing, like, she just is so in tune with herself and don't want to. She's not saying, "Oh, mommy, I need a BBL. Mommy, I want my breast done. Mommy, I want like, you know." She's just so in tune with herself and love herself.
Confidence.
Yeah, her confidence is just so, like, so super dope. I'm like, girl, you gotta teach me.
I know,
Like,
that's right.
you know what I'm saying? Yes, like, teach me. So it's just like, okay. And then when I said, oh yeah, my dude, they was like, we know her, Bria. So I was like, Bria, like, Mom, I'm telling you, I'm famous. You joking and saying that. I was like, no, girl, because it's times that we out. They be saying to Kylie, like, oh, you Bria sister. I be looking like, who are you? And Kylie be like, oh, hi. Oh, no, she was on cheerleading with Bria. Like, I feel like, oh, like, who are these people speaking to my kids?
Like, my kids don't know me. Okay.
Right, like, okay, so who am I? I'm the mom.
Right.
Like, you don't know me. I'm Bria's mom.
Yeah, I'm the mother. Hey, I had both of them.
Right. Right. So it's just like, it worked
so
out, and they just was like, oh my gosh, this is so that's why I was like, when I did my post, like, you know, God just helped me crush another one of my dreams. Like,
love it.
Like, you know, it just happened. Like, he's just keep on overflow. So that's why, like, I tell anybody, you have your good days, your bad days. It's days that I don't make no money out my shop. Last time I basically sat down the whole time. Like, you know, but it's going to happen. Just stay focused. And I'm still not here. Like,
see it.
Yes. And just stay to what you want it to be. And it will happen, because I have so many people that have said, oh, you should do this, or you should do that, you should do it. And I'm just staying, of course, like, you could give me your opinion. That don't mean I'm gonna take it and listen to it, but you could give me your opinion. I may take a little something out of there, and, like, you know, I'm more than welcome to it. But I know what my vision and what I'm sticking to, and later on you will understand my vision if you don't understand that.
She got that Kanye West energy, baby. What? He gonna rap wherever. What? They think I'm a producer. I'm a rapper too. They don't want to see me. Shana, like, I'm blowing out.
Yes,
I'm doing blowouts.
Yes. And that's what people just like, wait a minute. a client like, you need to put natural or something up in the window or something natural. So I said, no, I don't need to put anything. People, I want them to see right inside of my shop and see what's going on. I said, and then if I put natural, then I have the people that's coming in here with locks and braids and everything, which is like, you know what I'm saying? I'm holding up their top because they're like, oh, natural. Like, well, why you got natural in here? Like, you know, and it's a natural salon not too far from me. That's another thing how I am. I send people elsewhere too.
That's like, you'll always be blessed.
Yeah, like I'm not trying to like, oh, you want locks? I'm gonna find out a way to do locks. And do, like, no, I don't do it. A client called me today. Oh, I want green hair. No, I'm sorry. I love that you want green for it to be green, but I'm not bleaching your hair. She was like, so what do you do? I said, I do blowouts and silk press and shit. Like, I have my clients that may come with a rinse to cover their grays and different things. But as far as bleaching and everything, I'm licensed to do it, but that takes away time. That's taken away from what I'm building on my brand.
Yes.
So it has to say, and I can't slip it up and try to change it for this one person. I open up the door for more and more, and the next thing you know, it's not. I lost the vision.
Absolutely.
And then it's like it's not sticking to. Wait a minute, I'm used to coming to Shana and being out within an hour, less than 2 hours. Like
now you're turning into those
now
other salons.
I'm turning into the other salons because I'm trying to do everything because I'm trying to be greedy. I feel like that's being greedy. You try to get every coin.
And trying to be trendy.
Right. Like, no, I'm building something that is what it is. And now that I'm making women now, the ones that I'm running into, want to wear their real hair. Like, you know, like it's okay. Like we grew up in that era where you wore your real hair. Like
my husband's over.
Yeah, like they
I
be,
need the real hair.
Yeah, like they be over like it's good. Like we do
you
it.
Got hair.
Right. Like, yeah, like my maybe he be like, you look crazy. I'm like, how do I look crazy? Like that hair. Like I be like, but I get tired of just wearing. I want a little something different. I want a little curl, a little long, or something like, you know, he like just that or the braids. Like all this other stuff that you be trying to do. Like you just need to stop.
Familiar.
Yeah, like they, and that's what I told some. Like we don't do everything for, but if you have a man, a significant other, like you have to satisfy. You have to, like, you know,
honor them.
Yeah, you gotta honor them, especially I know you know, right? You married, so when you have a union, that's something totally different. You have to honor, like the same way how we like, don't wear that shirt, or don't wear this, like.
Yeah, like them pants too tight.
Right.
Don't even do it.
Like, you know, so we have to do the same thing. So that's why it's just starting to like change. And I just have to stick to the vision, which I am going to stick to the vision and just continue to build my platform. And this is a start. Like,
absolutely.
I was like, oh my gosh, I'm always remember this.
This is amazing. I'm just so, like I said, I'm so proud of you. And when I promise you, when I saw the clip and I heard you start, I was like, I said, Shana's Sarah's story. I was like, dude, she know how many people she's gonna reach. I'm like, this is amazing. I was like so proud of you because so many people need to see what's real. They need to hear what's real. That everybody's not so cookie cut. Everybody's not so perfect because even the ones who look perfect, they be a mess, but they're just all put together. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has a story.
Yep.
Everybody.
Yep.
It may not be all crazy as others, like you said. You didn't have those. I was molested. My father beat me. You didn't have none of that growing up.
No.
But you went through certain things. You saw certain things that made you shift a certain way, and now you're like, let me get back to myself. And now God is giving me this. I'm running through.
Yes, definitely. It's just I had to figure it out. Know what I want, know what I'm going after, look back at the things that I don't want to go through anymore. Remember that pain at the time. Do I want that pain to resurface? Burying certain things and letting go and not letting go where you're trying to just wash it away and forget about it. You don't never want to remember it. No, remembering it and embracing it.
Yeah.
And
there's no else.
And just knowing and not being ashamed, like, and just know and can admit. Like before I would never admit like what my mind, how I used to think as a little girl. Things that I would like. My father said years ago when we was in a car one day, you know how when you used to be in a car, you're like, that's my car. I will always pick like the luxury cars and stuff. And my father used to be like, why are you always picking these cars, Shana? So they always, like my mother always said, like she knew it was something And then when I came home, she said, what makes me so nervous and why I knew I had to really go on the street, because it's when you win a certain game, it's easy for you to get back in. Like, absolutely. It's like you just whatever. And then especially when you go do your time, I'm not a rat. And that's one thing that also too was on me, where they wanted me to tell, they wanted me to be, but I couldn't. Right. It just was like, why am I telling on somebody that I knew what I was doing, and then I'm gonna be a rat? I gotta own my own shit. Then my daughter gonna grow up in the same neighborhood or even whatever. Just know, like, oh, your mother is a rat. Like, nah, like I'm just not with it or whatever. So my mother was like, one day to me when I came home, she said, "What makes me so nervous with you? You're not fearful." And I was like, oh. She said, and that's scary. Yeah. When somebody has no fear. Yeah. I'm like, Mom, well, she said, you never was fearful even as a kid. Right. Like, you would do certain things, and my pretty girl privilege would get me over with certain things, like, where, like, I knew, like, oh, okay. And then I started to use it in a certain way. I knew with certain men, you can manipulate. I could manipulate and do certain things and get certain things out of them by not doing much. Oh, you think you just want to take me out to eat, so you want to give me this amount? Like, you know, like little things like that. So when she said that to me, like, it hit you. It hit me. Like, wow. Wow, like, that's true. I'm not. But you need to be fearful. Right. Of some things. Of some things. You need to be fearful of, like, it's not a good thing, like, to have absolutely no fear. Right. No fear. You do a lot of reckless things. Yeah. Like, you know, you have some sort of fear into something, and you looking at it like, okay, the outcome result could be this, and that could be scary, so that would make you fearful. Right. So some things you need to be fearful about. Absolutely. When she said that, that just was like, wow, like, damn, Mommy, I'm sorry I put you through that. Wow. Like, I never looked at it that way. And she like, you was always my child that I'm like, even to this day, she like, I'm like, Mom, good. Like, and I know she's like so super proud of me, because it's like always, your sisters is good. Like, they're great, whatever. You're great too, but I gotta watch you. Yeah. Like, because the no fear. Yeah, because the no fear. We don't know what you might have to do. Like, we don't know what, like, my mother used to, like, when you was out, like, the phone would ring, it just would be like, oh my gosh. Like, what's going on? Like, what is going on? My mother came to see me for the first and only time, and I was like, Mom, don't come back up here. Yeah. Well, Aunt Sheila, she broke down, like, crying like a baby. And they look so much alike. Yeah. So it's also her looking at herself. Yeah, she was crying so like a baby, and then you know how she was with our hair. She like, you're here, because I got like a Caesar, like, or whatever. She like, you're here. I'm like, Mom, I'm all right. Mama, you know, she'll like, Roberta, she will be fine. Relax. You know her. The aunt she referred to was the gangster one. Yes, okay? It's the gangster one. She's like, that fucking one. Like, she fucking fine. Yep. Everybody doing under her hair. Like, she fine. So I was like, Mom, do not come back up here. Yes. I'm like, do not come back up here no more. Like, it's already a long ride. Told my sister, like, don't let Mommy come up here no more. I'm okay. Like, I will be home soon. If I was doing, God forbid, years, then she could. But I'll be home in a few months. She just stay down there or whatever. Like, just keep her down there. Don't bring her back up here, because I'm been in have pain and have anxiety. Then go back to the dorm. Right. I gotta do what I got. I'm gonna go back to the dorm bad. Like, ready to fight somebody, get kicked out the program. Like, no. You lifted. Right. Like, I ain't doing nothing. Like, oh, okay, so you're gonna get shit back into it. Like, you know, go do your time over here. But other than that, like, when she said that to me, that really resonated with me. Like, wow, no fear. And I look back at things that I have done in my life. I'm like, yo, shit. Like, I wasn't even. You was bugging. Yeah. Like, like, you could really have, like, lost your life at times. Like, in certain situations that I have done, like, like, what was you thinking? Like, what was going through your mind? But it's just like, I'm in this, like, in this world, like, I'm in it, and I'm like, don't put that pretty girl stigma on me. Like, don't think that I can't do this. Like, don't think don't sleep. Like, I'm gonna wake you up. Like, that was my type of way of thinking back then. Now I'm like, you can sleep all you want. Like, I will get you a pillow, beloved. I ain't go back there.
The switch has been cut on. Trust.
At all.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I like things too much.
I like being around.
I like being around.
Yeah.
I like my freedom.
Yeah.
You know, like it really makes you reality and appreciate things. And it's certain like songs that I may hear, a certain scent that, and it takes me right back there. Like it takes me right back that day, whatever was going on, certain foods that I may taste. I mean, I'm like, oh, this tastes like gel.
Wow.
Like, you know, I know what it is. Now I know what it is to be away from your family. Not like when I went in, my daughter, Bria was turning 10, I believe. So again, my support system, she had like 3 birthday parties.
Right.
I wasn't even here for a birthday. I used to have to send her letters to my grandmother's house on Terrace, and she would put it in another envelope because she knew what the envelopes looked like. Again, from her dad. So she would put it in another envelope, and I would have to send it that way. And I was like, I would never, God forbid, like while I'm here and have breath in my body, miss a birthday party. Like, only way how I would ever go back to is you're violating my children.
Right.
Like, that's the only way how I'm sacrificing
Yeah.
myself. But other than that, like, that's why I just feel like me telling my story, like, because so many girls are sacrificing and selling their souls for this stuff, and it's just like, yo, it's just this more facade. To it. Yeah, it's a facade, and it may be hard, but you can get out of it. And then if you have somebody in your life, like I was blessed enough to have my significant other who I'm with in my life, that me and him, we have been through things together. That is like, it made our situation stronger, made our bond stronger. And then even for him to do this and believe in my dream, it's just like, yo, I always sound like you made my dream my reality.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would just be like, yo, stop. Like he just get like, we make him shy. Like us and the kids, like, I'm like, no,
too cool.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. He's just so cool or whatever. But I'm like, no, seriously, like, you know, real talk. Like, you really made my dream my reality. Like, I knew it would happen. God would do it for me. But like, for it to happen, that's that, and then for you to like really take all your means to do it for me, that means like, yo, you really believe in my dream. Like, you see what I'm trying to do. So that's why sometimes when you get aggravated with, I'm like, it's gonna be all right, baby. Right. It's gonna be all right. Like, just stick it out with me. Stick it out. Like,
we got this.
We got this.
The facts.
Yes.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Oh my gosh, Miss Shana Bowers. All right, tell them where the salon is.
Okay, SB Blowout Bar is on 2374 Grand Avenue in Baldwin, Nassau County, Long Island. I'm between Sunrise Highway and Merrick Avenue. Like diagonal across from Baldwin Library, Public Library. Again, is blowouts for natural hair, or even if your hair is relaxed, silk presses, trims that I do. I'm not scissor happy, by the way. Okay. It's just all basically hair care of what I'm trying to do, get us back into wearing our natural hair. It is okay to wear your wigs. It is okay to wear your weaves, your braids, but just for us to just take care of our hair that's growing from our root. Right. That's the main thing. I'm on Instagram. How you can book an appointment is at SB Blowout Bar _ You just click book now, and then everything is there for you. If you need to reach out, I would prefer a text message, because sometimes a phone call, I may miss it. It may forget to call back. A text message I can always see, and I may not reply right away, but I would definitely reply to you guys. I'm just here, new in and out service or whatever. If you're in a different state, God willing, I'll be coming to a state near you soon or whatever. And I'm here. Thank you, SB Blowout Bar.
That's the one. SB Blowout Bar. Only in Long Island at this moment, but you will see way, way more of this young lady and her amazing story. Listen, if you guys are looking to encourage some youth groups, if you know of any facilities or organizations or anyone who's looking for a speaker with
a story that can encourage, reach out to her.
Definitely.
For sure. Reach out to her.
Definitely.
This truly blessed me, my dear.
Thank you so much
and
for having me.
Nothing but greatness
Thank you
for you.
so
I already
much.
know because I already
Thank you.
see. But everything that you speak out of your mouth, I pray that God brings it forth for you tenfold.
Thank you so much. He has, but I have no complaints.
I know that's a fact.
I have no
That's
complaints.
a fact.
He's been showing out. I just be
Love
like,
it.
picture myself.
I know, like God, you doing the most.
Yes, like you doing the most. And that's why I be
You
saying
doing the
that. I tell people like it's so much power in prayer.
Yeah.
Like I tell people, I'm like, I don't want to get Christian, but I ain't ashamed. I'm gonna get Christian. Like
Okay.
it is power in
Absolutely.
prayer. It's been so many times that I have been in that cell. And like I said, they used to call me on tour. So I almost went to almost every county jail of state, different around different type of women, correctional officers, everything where it's nothing but God that kept me and just brought me out scar free.
Right.
No stories.
Your mind.
My mind. I have the same mind.
Yes.
That's the thing. You see people lose their
Check
mind, check out. Like, you know, it's not the end of the world. Even if it's not, it doesn't have to be imprisonment. It could be stories of, I have friends that have been molested and different things like that are just now starting to go to therapy.
Right.
And starting to feel better.
Yeah.
About themselves, like where they like, damn, I wish I would have did this so many years ago. And it's now like in our culture, it's starting to become much more like welcoming, like understanding, like to go, like that's one reason why I love Charlemagne so much.
Me too.
God, like, you know, he speaks on it so much that it's like it's okay. And especially with our Black men. Like it's just like it's okay to be hurt and say that you hurt. Just because it's okay to cry.
It's
like,
okay to take your time to heal.
Yes,
also.
yes.
You know, it's
absolutely.
okay to just take a break from relationships. I think
absolutely.
That's where I think people get thrown sometimes. They just have to be with somebody. But if you're broken and you can't really deal with you, don't put yourself on somebody else. Just take time to heal, to learn yourself. I think that's so important. So thank you for saying that. For
definitely.
Sure, therapy. Come on, y'all.
You have to, like, because it's like I didn't go to therapy or anything like that, but God has blessed me enough to where I like to deal with things in reality. Right. Like I try to put my feet in other people's shoes. I try to be like, you know, not so much black and white, but like basically like Shana, if you feel in your gut that this is going to be the outcome of a certain, that's what it's going to be. Don't try to change it. Don't try to fix it up or put flowers on it to like make it look better. Like this is what it is. This is what it is. Right. Like you can't like try to like how I used to be, like I said again, with being a convicted felon, being a teen mom, like I used to be like, oh my gosh, like because being a teen mom, you just look like, oh, is she really your mom?
Everybody knows.
Right. Like, is she like, is she really a good mom? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's been times with me raising Bria, even to this day, sometime with Kylie. The parents, like, who she's friends with, they are older than me. And I would tell them, like, they're like, oh, but I'm like, you don't even know my story. Like, you don't even know what I could teach you something.
You know, but you have no idea.
like, you know, and then once I start to talk, they're like, oh my gosh, like, so this is why you don't judge a book by its cover, or you know, or people just think that I'm small-minded because of what I like portray. My appearance of who I am or whatever. Like, oh, she just wants nice things, or she's just whatever. Like, no, and then once you start to speak to me, then you'll be like, oh, okay, I get it. Like, even when I was in a drug program, my counselor, he was like, I would stay after. So I'm like, stay after? Like, I'm like, for what? And he said, whatever you do, you need to speak. He said, when you speak, you hold the room.
Come on,
I was like, really? Because and the reason why I'm talking in the program is because none of the guys want to say nothing. I'm not about to sit here for a whole hour. Like, this hour gonna go by so slow. So let's answer these questions, whatever he's asking us. So it will always be me, and there would be another female in there, but she was very quiet, like, you know, I will always be talking. And then I'm like, damn, I'm probably talking too much. But all of them would be like this. Like, so I'm like, all right. And one day he just was like, you need to speak. Like, when you speak, you hold the room. So I was like, really? I was like, oh, I don't even be trying to speak to hold the room. I'm just trying to make this hour. I'm just trying to make this
Y'all be
album back.
knowing, child.
Yeah, because we sit here longer not saying anything, and he asks more and more questions. Then we didn't look. So I'm like, no, guys, like speak. And then if I started talking, tell a little bit, then they start to come out and tell a little bit and open up a little bit more. And I'm like, all right, because they're looking at me like, oh, she's the pretty girl. We got to talk. Like, oh, what? We don't care. Like, you ain't pretty. Like, whatever. It's like, you don't gotta be hard. You don't gotta be tough. Like, I don't care. You gotta be tough everywhere, beloved. Yeah, like, you relax. You see where we at? Right. Like, relax. Like, I'm here too. Like, relax. I'm not trying to bag you. I don't want you to bag me. Please don't. Like, we're here at the program and we're leaving. Like, that's it. I'm just trying to get in. So when he said that to me, I just was like, oh, wow. I was like, oh, okay. I guess so if you say so.
Sometimes other people can see your gifts.
Yeah.
You just be yourself. And it sometimes takes an outsider to see, like, you do this at A, B, and C, right?
Right.
Say what now?
Right.
Really? Oh, okay. And then you start to dwell.
Right.
God be knowing, child.
He sure do.
Listen, he will move in a drug program, but
he be moving everywhere. That's why I'm like, God, you are showing out.
Like, I'm one of his favorites.
Yes, like what I just be I just be like, thank you. I just be like, who you talking? Kylie be like, Mom, you was talking in the background. I'm like, yeah, I was talking to God. And even with her, she's like very like she goes to church with my mother, goes to church with me. Like she's like everybody in church, like she has an anointing on her life. Like said to me a couple of nights ago, can we pray? I said, of course we can pray.
Yes, little baby.
I said we can pray anytime you want to pray. I said, you don't need mommy to pray all the time. I said, but it's okay. But if you ever feel like that, I said, you can be in the middle of playing, mommy. And you want to pray, you can stop playing and just pray.
Yeah.
I'm like, don't ever. I said, you in school, you want to pray, you can pray wherever you want to pray. I said, never ask if you can pray. You can pray anytime you want to pray.
Okay.
Okay.
Come on, God. Come on, God. And the youth shall lead.
Yes.
Hello.
Definitely.
I love it. Listen, everybody, make sure you check out SB Blowout Bar in Baldwin, New York.
Yep.
If you need a speaker, I'm gonna keep saying it. Okay. She about to be like, what is it? E.T. the hip hop. Okay. Out in this piece. If y'all need someone to encourage, like I said, encourage the youth, encourage some adults, the women. Okay. She clearly has a heart for the women. She's seen some things and she knows what the women need. Reach out to her to be a speaker.
Definitely.
Or something to that effect.
Yes.
Because this story blessed me so much. Miss Shana Bowers, everybody. Make sure you guys subscribe to How Michael H. Podcast on YouTube. Check out this episode. If you're just coming in, share it, tag it, like it. Let me know y'all following us. Like, we popping in here. Let us know that y'all see us out here. And don't forget to visit SB Beauty Bar. SB Blowout Bar on Instagram as well. Is it underscore?
Yeah, underscore. SB Blowout Bar underscore.
Okay.
And you'll see it come right up and everything is right there for you.
And the appointment book now. All
yes.
Right? Listen, everybody enjoy their evening. Good night.
Good night.
Bye.